Hello everyone, if you're new to my channel, consider liking and subscribing. It will make me feel wonderful if you do that. Thanks. By the way, I also have another Naruto and Luffy fanfiction channel. If you are interested, link is in the description.
The Straw Hat's Red Devil, Sky Island Saga, Number 3, by DeadGirlEtarnal. She's the daughter of red-haired Shanks. She was dropped off to live with Luffy. She met Ace and Sabo, but when Sabo died, it was the last for her, as she vows to take revenge. Years later, she leaves the island and sets on adventures of her own. She soon meets up with her baby brother and travels with him, finding love in more than one place. Adios.
Dakota's Pav. For now, it looks like our next destination is set. Zoro comments. Little Garden, huh? Sanji repeats the name of our next island. Hey, now, will we be alright there? Usopp gulps with nervousness and looks over at me. Who knows? Let's go, man. Luffy cheers. Yeah, we all agree, and Usopp still looks scared. It's a misnomer. Little Garden is more like a giant jungle island. I tell them and walk off with Usopp screaming about death as I walk down the steps. Dakota. No, tell me you're lying. Is it dangerous? Dakota? Nami and Usopp cry after me, and I walk into my room to get change. One Piece. Diary of Kobe Meppo short story. I finish tying up my heeled boots that go over my black jeans and tuck in my baby blue shirt, and put a black leather jacket over it as I want to stay covered up as best I can since I've heard the rumors about Little Garden and the blizzard weather. I put the book I let Nami borrow from our shared collection on the top shelf. Man, what are they doing out there? I sigh as I hear the boys yelling at Luffy again. I grab one of my hairbands and put it into a difficult play before putting my leather jacket on and opening the bedroom door. One Piece. Diary of Kobe Meppo short story. I walk out to see Sanji, Usopp and Luffy chasing after Karoo around the mast. I watch them and feel stupid for it and walk up the stairs to the girls. Wait, come back, the boys shout at the duck. Damn it, you guys, knock it off. Zoro loses it and screams at them. I try not to laugh at the boys below. But can't you guys be a little worried? At least, Nami loses it as well and shouts at the boys. Worried about what? Luffy asks her, clueless. Oh, Nami-san is lovely when she's angry, too. Sanji swoons at our navigator, as always. Honestly, now, she sighs in annoyance at our crewmates. But it's strange. For someone with a 30 million berry bounty, he doesn't seem that terrible of a person at all. Vivi comments as she looks at my goofy baby brother. Yeah, it might be hard to imagine, but he's beaten many big names. Arlong, the fishman who was bent on ruling the East Blue. Nami starts the list. Manipulating, evil and cruel. Total loser. I comment under my breath, but the others still hear me and giggle. Pirate Fleet Commodore, Don Krieg. Nami adds that fool. Loser couldn't take a week in the Grand Line, I remark, and the others giggle. Captain Kuro, an unknown pirate notorious for his cunning methods, she says, trying to stop her giggles. Trickster who turned on his crew to kill them and a girl for profit and got beaten by a 17-year-old. I grin as the others laugh. You forgot one. Zoro cuts in, and we all look at him. A marine freak who wields a huge axe hand. Ah, axe hand Morgan. Nami nods, seeming to remember as it was before the rest of us. Axe hand Morgan? I've heard of him before. I heard he's a marine captain who's feared in the East Blue for his overwhelming domination. You're saying he beat even him? Vivi questions as she looks at my brother as he tries to help Sanji and Usopp put around Karoo, seeming to want to use him as bait. Oh, the old axe hand guy. That reminds me. I wonder what that guy with him is up to now. Luffy wonders, and Usopp lets go of the oversized duck, and it escapes. I wonder if he's still at that marine base. Who's he? I ask him. Yeah, he answers as if that explains it. His name's Kobe, he's my friend. So, tell us about this friend of yours. I ask him, and he goes on to tell us about when he left the island and punched the Sea King, that took my father's arm. Fun, isn't it? I smirk as the others look at us in shock. What? It's a rite of passage. So how'd you meet this Kobe? I ask him, and he tells us how he met the boy. We laugh and enjoy the story. So, did you tell him about me? I ask him, but he shakes his head and laughs. What? Why not? You sound just like your dad. He laughs, and I whine a little but stop. Oh, God, I do. I cringe, and the others laugh as well. One Piece. Diary of Kobe Meppo short story 3rd Pov. Back in the East Blue on the island called Yotsuba in Shell's town. A boy with pale pink hair sits in the restaurant called Food Fu with his other chore mate Helmeppo, both beaten up badly by each other and the fall from the roof. The two chore boys sit at the table with Ririka, the restaurant owner, and her young daughter as they tell them what happened at the Marine 153rd branch base. Eh? That explosion earlier was you guys doing? Rika asks the young boys after they finish explaining. Did they kick you out of the Marines after that? Ririka asks them with worry as she places a plate full of rice balls. Thank you for the food, Kobe says as he bows in thanks, still sullen about messing up but tries perking up. No, we just managed to avoid being kicked out. He takes a bite. We had to agree to work for free for 50 years, though, Helmeppo complains as he eats unhappily. Being kicked out would have been much better. Cheer up, you two, Ririka tells them with a big smile she shares with her daughter. Oh, yeah. Look at this. Rika says and grabs the morning newspaper that shows a picture of Luffy being chased by Smoker, and next to it is a picture of Dakota punching a group of Marines towards the camera. Straw Hat Luffy and Red Devil Dakota wreak havoc in Logatown. Manages a baffling escape from Captain Smoker's cloud. She quotes the title of the article. Luffy, Kobe cheers up, getting to his feet in glee at seeing his first real friend. This means Luffy headed for the Grand Line. He grins happily for his friend to get closer to his dream. One Piece. Diary of Kobe Meppo short story Dakota's Pov. Still sailing towards Little Garden, I walk out onto the deck to hear Usopp shouting after Zoro, and I shake my head at them as I take out my journal from my jacket pocket and start writing down the names of all the bounty hunters I took down in Whiskey Peak. I walk up the stairs towards the kitchen and smack Usopp's flailing legs, making him fall to the floor behind me as I open the door and walk in. One Piece. Diary of Kobe Meppo short story. But it's easy to hit reefs due to the elevated coral. Vivi explains as she and Nami go over one of the island drawings. And I sit down opposite them as I continue to write the names down. I see, Nami says as she looks over the drawing. Thanks, that was helpful. You're welcome. Wow, it smells good, she replies, and I stop to see Sanji walking towards us with 2 trays. One with desserts and the other a tea set. Yeah. I agree as he walks over. Thanks for waiting. This is today's dessert, tarte aux poires. Bon appétit, he says as he puts it before us, and Usopp appears next to me. Wow, it looks delicious, we compliment the chef. Yours is over there, Sanji snaps at the other male, pointing behind him, but he gets up anyway. Okay, he cheers and heads for his dessert. Geez, where's Luffy? Sanji asks as it's quiet for once on the Going Merry. Oh, I asked him to go draw water earlier. I want to take a shower. I think he's at the water drawing machine. Nami explains, and I cringe, knowing something terrible will happen. No wonder he's been quiet, he replies when a crash comes from outside. Spoke too soon, I remark as we race out to have a look. One Piece. Diary of Kobe Meppo short story. We see Luffy climbing from under the stairs where the water drawing machine resides. What happened? I ask him as Usopp climbs under the railing at the broken appliance. Ah, Luffy. Why do you have to break it? Usopp cries, jumps down beside our captain, and assesses the damage. I was just trying to draw the water faster, Luffy explains. Oh boy, the belt's been burned and broken, Usopp announces, and Nami jumps down behind our rubber idiot. Yeah, I wonder how that happened. He plays the dumb card, and Nami punches him on the head. It's because of your ridiculous strength. Geez, Nami snaps at our captain. Can it be fixed, Vivi? Well, we have to get materials from somewhere. Usopp answers, at least it's not so bad. In any case, I probably shouldn't ask him to do anything. Usopp, could you get water from the other water drawing machine for me? Nami demands as she goes towards the stairs. Yeah, Usopp agrees, clearly distracted, but soon realizes what he said. What, Nami? Have you ever considered doing it yourself? I smell food, Luffy says, and I shake my head at my brother's usual behavior as Usopp yells at Nami, then turns on Luffy. And you, show a little more remorse. I'm sorry, but there's another one, so what's the big deal? Luffy questions. Luffy, just say you're sorry, I tell him, and he looks up at me and then back at Usopp. I'm sorry. He repeats. Nami, look, Vivi says, and I follow her gaze to see the newspaper courier bird. Oh, the newspaper courier. Nami smiles, recognizing the familiar bird. Shut up. I can't sleep. Zoro complains from the other side of the ship at the two arguing boys as we walk back inside with the others as Usopp uses the water drawing machine. One Piece. Diary of Kobe Meppo short story. I sit at the table, enjoy my tart, flip to the next page, write the names down, and let Nami read the newspaper. At any rate, I can't believe they deliver the morning paper at noon. She complains, and the others come inside, except Usopp, to have their desserts, Zoro and Luffy sitting on either side of me. It can't be helped, we are traveling in this part of the Grand Line. I point out as I smack Luffy's hand away. Feel a little lucky that you get the news at all. I guess you're right. Nami agrees with a smile, but she seems startled by something. Did something catch your eye? Vivi asks her as she feeds Karoo. What? No, not really, she lies and turns to the next page. I see. Vivi dismisses it and returns to attending to the duck. Though I see the look she gives the princess, it must be about her home. Luffy gasps and slams his hands on the table, his mouth still full. What is it? Nami asks him as he looks over her shoulder, bumping me into Zoro. Here, Zoro. Look, he exclaims. What? This is just a picture of the Marines. I point out as I look at the image. Yeah, but the guy in this picture isn't just anyone, he says, pointing at the picture in the corner of the two huddling on the ship. Hey, it's Kobe, Zoro remarks in surprise. See? Luffy exclaims in glee. Kobe, that friend you were talking about the other day? Nami asks him. Yep, so what does it say? What does it say? Let's see, he asks her as he leans over, bumping me again. I push back, and he falls to the floor. Luffy, stop pushing into me. I snap as I drink my tea calmly, and he returns to his seat. Sorry, sis. He apologizes, and I nod, accepting the apology. Vice Admiral Garp's warship has arrived at Marine headquarters. Nami reads aloud, and I look up at the mention of the old man who kept cussing out my dad and threw me into the forest a few times for training. The picture was taken right after they crossed over Reverse Mountain. Just as expected, Vice Admiral Garp had a relaxed, imposing look. However, there were some young Marines whose faces froze with fear. I look at Luffy, who doesn't even recognize his grandfather's name. Whoa, so Kobe has entered the Grand Line. He beams with happiness for his friend. It said Marine headquarters. Not so bad, Zoro comments, seeming pleased with his friend's success. No matter what people say, he's a man who'll be a Marine mayor, Luffy replies with a grin. Why would he want to become a mayor? Officer, a Marine officer, Zoro corrects him. Yeah, that's the one. I see, so he's trying hard, too. Luffy nods along as Nami turns the page, continuing to read the paper. Hey, Nami, can I have the newspaper after you? I ask her, and she nods. Sure, she answers, and it goes quiet as we all sit in silence enjoying ourselves, and Nami finishes the paper and passes it over to me. And I flip through the pages to find the one about Garp. Then I see what Nami is worried about. I look at Vivi and fold up the newspaper, putting it into my inner jacket pocket, sharing a look with Nami, who nods. One Piece. Diary of Kobe Meppo short story. Night finally falls, and I sit in the crow's nest looking up into the night sky with twinkling stars. Trying to think of other things. I hear a door open and close below and look over to see Nami walking out. Dakota, give me the newspaper. Nami whisper yells up to me, and I get the newspaper out before dropping it down for her to catch. Thanks. No problem, sleep tight. I whisper back as she goes back into our room with Vivi sleeping none the wiser, hopefully. One Piece. Little garden arc. I lean against the railing, feeling my eyes close as I fight sleep after being on night watch. I lean my head on Zoro's shoulder, falling asleep a little as they talk. I wonder if it's not gonna snow anymore, Luffy comments above my head. There's no way it would. Zoro denies it in my ear. Does too. You don't know since you slept through it last time. Sis, tell him. Sis, Luffy exclaims. Then there's a smack as Zoro shuffles a little, and then a yelp comes from my brother. Shish, she's sleeping. Zoro snaps at him. Hey, do you think it'll snow again? He asks Vivi instead. It could snow, but the sea we were in first is special since the 7 magnetic forces from reverse mountain messes everything up. Vivi replies. That doesn't mean you can relax your attention here, though. It'd be rare for this sea to be wild like the first journey, but it's still true that this sea is a lot more difficult than ordinary ones. Never underestimate this sea. That's the ironclad rule. Hey, guys, Sanji calls out, and I open my eyes, feeling a little better, smelling the sweet scent in the air. Wanna have my special drink? I jump to my feet and race down the stairs with Karoo as Luffy and Zoro jump over the railing, and we sit in a circle with Usopp and Sanji, who pass me the drink. I sip the sweet drink through the straw with glee. Thanks, we all say to Sanji happily as we drink our drinks. Say, Usopp. Make a fishing tackle for me. Luffy requests our handy sniper. Fishing, huh? That's a good idea. Zoro agrees. Okay, then I'll make an artistic fishing rod for you. Usopp accepts, and Karoo seems to be struggling with the straw. Hey, it goes like this, Sanji says as he helps the oversized duck who drinks it whole. Wow, you sure can drink. Hey, is it good? He passes round after round as Karoo seems to enjoy the drink. Whoa, amazing. Luffy cheers, and Usopp joins in as the bird continues to drink. Attaboy, go, 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 Usopp cheers, but Karoo seems to have sugar overload as he grows dizzy, crying before falling on his back and spitting up the drink. Luffy laughs with the rest of us, enjoying the moment because that's just the kind of crew we are. There's a splash from the starboard side of the ship. The boys get up to have a look, and I join them to see a dolphin jumping towards us. Hey, everyone, look, it's a dolphin, Sanji announces as we watch. Whoa, he's cute. Nami comments as he comes closer and jumps into the air, towering over the ship. It's huge. We all cry out as it jumps over our heads and splashes into the water, creating a giant wave heading towards us. Get out of here, Luffy orders, and we get to work. Drop our drinks on the floor, startling Karoo awake as we run around the deck. Sanji tightens the rigging as Usopp, and I fix the sails, and Zoro goes to the helm to steer us away. Usopp jumps down onto the deck as Sanji runs over. Take that side, Usopp yells at the cook as he runs over. Got it. He nods and goes over to the other side of the sails as I continue to make sure the sails are secure. Completely unfurl the sails, Luffy orders, and we pick up a strong wind, helping to move us further, but it seems the giant dolphin is enjoying chasing after us as it jumps into the air after us. Okay. Ride the wave and shake him DS behind us with a huge splash, and creating another wave. We brace ourselves and ride out the tide away from the aquatic mammal. Nami, which direction should the ship take? He asks our navigator, and I jump down behind him, startling the straw hat wearer. Hold on a sec. Let me check. She tells him and looks down at the log pose on her wrist. Turn to port, full, she orders us, and we follow through and turn left, heading closer to our next island. We all stand now that it's quiet towards the ship's bow to better see our heading. Whoa, Luffy giggles as he sits on the figurehead, as the rest of us look at the island before us. There's no mistake. That island and Cactus Island are pulling against each other. Our next stop is that island, she announces and points at the island ahead. So that's the one, our second island in the Grand Line. Luffy cheers from the figurehead, and I laugh at his happily grinning face as we sail towards the island and the mainland. As we look at the wild jungle, Luffy jumps off the figurehead and runs to the port side. So this is Little Garden. What's little about it? Zoro comments as we look at the island. This place doesn't quite fit its cute name. Guess you were right, Dakota, Nami says, looking over at me as I stand beside her. Ah, it's like a terra incognita. It's a thick jungle. Usopp cries out in fear as he steps away as if it'll protect him. We should be careful. I'm worried about what Miss All Sunday was saying. Vivi worries, and it freaks our resident coward even more. Are you saying a monster may appear? Usopp stutters. Who knows? Luffy laughs, not bothered either way. Let's go to our next destination without going ashore on this one, he begs and runs to Nami. But the log can't be stored so quickly, she tells him. Also, we have to stock up on food soon, Sanji tells him. We didn't get enough in the last town we were in. There's a river mouth there. Zoro cuts in as he points over. We all look in the same direction to see what he means. What? Really? Usopp cries a little, and we sail steady on the river up into the island. I hope there's a barbecue restaurant in here, Luffy says, thinking about his stomach. As if there'd be one, Sanji snaps at our captain. But you said we were going to stock up on food. He reasons as if that's the same thing. We'll collect food to cook later. Geez. What are you thinking? Sanji sighs at the rubber boy's behavior. But it's dangerous to go ashore. Nami points out into the jungle. Just take a look at the plants here to start with. I've never seen anything like them, even in encyclopedias. I have, one of my books has a reference about Little Garden. I tell her, and a bird cries out at high volume. I cover my ears at the noise. How cute, Sanji coos as he looks at Nami and me. You mean me? Usopp jokes, and Sanji turns vicious on the sniper. Obviously, I meant Nami-san and Dakota. My love, he yells at Usopp. What was it I just heard? I wonder, though, it sounded like a bird of some kind. It's all right. It's just a bird. Sanji assures them, but I look behind him to see an Archaeopteryx coming towards the cook. And this is just a jungle, don't worry. Sanji, behind you. I call out and jump to knock him to the floor as the prehistoric bird tries to swoop him up in its talons. What was that for, you damn bird? He yells after it as it flies away, and we return to our feet. A lizard. I wonder if it tastes good. Luffy thinks with his stomach as usual. Luffy, it's not. I try to tell him, but suddenly a loud boom echoes around us, and smoke enters the jungle. Is that a kind of noise you hear from just any jungle? Nami cowers in fear. That sounded like a volcano erupted. Usopp cries out as we sail up the river and come across a giant tiger. A tiger? It's too huge, Nami and Usopp shriek as they cower on the other side of the ship. And the feline follows us along the shoreline. Abruptly the giant tiger stops letting out wails of pain and spitting up blood before falling dead with a pool of blood on its side. What happened? Nami demands as she comes over, still hiding, using my body as a shield this time. This isn't normal. This is definitely not normal. She cries and turns to her fellow coward. Why does a tiger, king of the jungle, fall covered in blood? It's not the king of this jungle, I comment as I look around. Ah, don't say that, it's decided that we're not gonna go ashore on this island. Usopp decides for the coward duo. We'll quietly wait on the ship until the log is stored. Nami agrees, and Usopp nods in agreement. And leave this island as soon as possible. Right. Usopp keeps repeating in agreement with the plan. We have to go to Alabasta quickly. Nami says, and I shake my head as Zoro throws the anchor off the ship. As we stop, I go quickly into my room to grab my bag as I walk around and pack one of my books and some weapons. I return to see Luffy and Sanji talking. Our captain has a big goofy grin. A pirate lunch, with lots of meat and no veggies. Luffy tells the cook. I can smell adventure in the air. Sanji, hide the vegetables, please, I ask him, and he nods as Nami approaches Luffy. Wait a sec. Where are you going? She demands, but with the look on his face, she's not gonna like it. Adventure, he answers. Wanna come along? Adventure, adventure, he cheers, but the cowardly duo doesn't look too happy. It's not like you have to go with him. I point out as I put my bag around my shoulders. Sanji, make lunch for me. Luffy cheers again. Okay. Hold on a bit. Sanji tells him, and Luffy giggles to himself. Say, can I come with you? Viv asks him, and I look at her with a raised eyebrow, not expecting her to ask something like that. Sure, come, he agrees, and I shake my head at him. Not you too. Nami cries out. Sanji, can you make 2 extra for Vivi and me? I ask him, and Nami cries out again. Yeah, if I just sit around here, I may start thinking about all sorts of things. I'll go out to take my mind off things until the log is stored. Vivi tells the navigator. I want to look around, see what's up with this island, I answer her. No way. It may be okay for Luffy and Dakota, but it's too dangerous for you. Nami tries reasoning with the princess. I'll be fine since Karoo will be with me. Vivi assures her, but the bird hears this and is shocked. He's too shocked to say a word, otherwise, I joke as I look at the poor duck. Could you prepare something to drink for Karoo? She asks our fabulous cook. Of course, please leave it to me. He assures her and closes the door, working on our lunches. Sanji hands over my lunchbox and gives Luffy a bag to hold his and Vivi's lunchboxes before placing Karoo's drink holder around his neck. Now you're all set. 3 pirate lunches and a special drink for Karoo, Sanji announces as he stands. Okay. Luffy cheers and jumps off the ship onto the land along with Vivi on Karoo, and I join them on the shore. Well, then, see you later, Vivi calls back to the others. All right. Let's go. Luffy cheers as he runs off with Karoo and Vivi chasing him, and I stroll behind them. We'll be back in a little while, Vivi assures them as they disappear into the jungle, and Zoro jumps down from the ship behind me. Ah, hey, Zoro, Sanji calls out to the swordsman. Wait, we're short of food. If you see animals that appear edible, bring them back. Okay, got it. I'll bring back one that you can't possibly capture, Zoro replies, getting a rise out of the cook, and I continue to walk off into the jungle away from the pissing contest the two always seem to have over the simplest things. They sort of remind me of Ace and Luffy when they were younger. One Piece. Little garden arc. I keep walking around the jungle, between the overgrown trees, looking down at my book I brought with me that shows all the different kinds of trees and plant life there around the island. I left the reference book back on the ship just in it, knowing her. I stop in my tracks and hear thunderous footsteps moving past me and a strange laugh. I turn around, hearing cries similar to Nami and Usopp. Man, what scared them this time? I wonder aloud to myself and start heading the way I came back towards the ship. Then another strange call goes through the trees. I stop, looking around as it sounds off for a few more seconds, then it stops as a herd of what appeared to be Brontosaurus racing in the other direction. I wait for the pack to pass before setting off again. Then, another strange laugh sounds through the jungle, but I continue towards the ship. One Piece. Little garden arc. I finally reach the ship, but it's empty. I look around, but Usopp and Nami are nowhere to be seen. I shrug my shoulders as I put the book back on the shelf that was left on the floor and leave when the sound of one of the volcanoes erupting sounds out twice and head back onto the shore going up the river to check out our way out once the log resets. One Piece. Little garden arc. The eruption continues for a few more, then comes to a stop. There's a crashing sound from further within the jungle coming from each side before meeting in the middle and clashing sounds. I hold my hands to my ears from the intense sounds. But it soon stops, though whatever it is, makes a fierce backlash, and I head into the trees again in search of the noise. One Piece. Little garden arc. I walk into the trees, and whatever is happening within the island's center, it's terrible as strong winds rock the plant life around me as I go through, and more clashes and crashes surround the island. I pull out my water canteen, take a sip and come across some berries I remember reading about that are edible and get out my lunch and start eating, glad for Sanji's cooking. I finish it quickly as the strong winds and clashing and crashing sounds come around, and I put the berries into the box, packing a fair few before sealing it up. Teleport, I whisper, and the box disappears as I think of the kitchen table back on the Going Merry. I put my backpack around my shoulders again and continue walking along when I hear a familiar shrill voice from above and see a woman floating in the air. I groan as I slowly and carefully approach the yellow woman and see Mr. 5 below. They'll find you, Miss Valentine. Come down already, he warns her a little too late as I hide behind one of the trees, listening in. Don't worry, Mr. 5, after all, they're absorbed in the fight. They won't notice, Miss Valentine assures him, and I tilt my head a little, thinking about her words, but I guess it makes sense to put the sounds together. Just come down, he yells at her. Okay, okay. She begrudgingly agrees and lands before him, twirling her umbrella around. Hey, do you really get it? This is a big job for 200 million berries, he tells her, and I look around the tree at them in surprise at the amount and wonder who they're after. Of course, although I feel reluctant to do as Mr. 3 tells us, she replies to him, and I sigh at the fact that there are more officer agents around on this island. I know, let's go, he says and walks off with her following him with more crashes coming from behind them and wondering where they're going but shrugs off, needing to find the others to warn them about the officer agents. One Piece. Little garden arc. I speed walk through the trees and come to a clearing with Luffy, Vivi and Karoo standing watching something. I turn to look and see two giants punching each other in the face with their shields before they fall on their backs and laugh. Guess that was some of the strange noises I kept hearing on my walk, and ran over to the little group and tackled Luffy to the ground, tickling him as he shrieked with laughter. Glad to see the goofball again. My, Dakota, you gave me a fright. Vivi complains as she holds a hand over her chest, and Karoo gets back to his feet as I finish my assault on my baby brother, missing my other brother. Yeah, sorry, I was missing my kid brother a little. I joke as I take his hat as he gets to his feet and place it on my head. I wanted to ask you before, but you say he's your brother, but you don't share the same name or looks. I don't mean to sound rude, but it's been puzzling me for a while, she says, and I laugh as I look at my goofy, sworn brother. We met when my father and his crew came to his island for a holiday. I use quotation marks, as every other day aboard the Red Force for me felt like paradise. Dad left me on the island after a year to stay with Luffy. Yeah, and I told her dad that I'd become the king of the pirates one day, and she vowed to kill the person who murdered her mother. We grew really close. Luffy adds in, and we share a grin. I see, that's sweet. So your father, who is it? She asks, and I give Luffy his hat back. Why, red-haired Shanks, captain of the red-haired pirates. I tell her, and she looks in shock as the giant with the long brown beard returns to this side of the island. Hey, nice fighting. I compliment him as he sits down with two barrels between his finger and laughs strangely. Why, thank you. Who is your red-haired friend? He asks my brother. This is my big sister, Dakota. Sis, this is Dory, he's a giant. Luffy introduces us, and I laugh at him. Nice to meet you. I've not met a giant in a long time. You Elbaf giants are quite amazing. I compliment him again, and he laughs as he raises the barrels. I got these from my friend Brogy, he has 2 more humans with him, he informs us. They must be from our crew. Luffy comments. I see. His guests are your friends, huh? Dory remarks in his thunderous voice. I saw a man with a long nose and a woman. That's Nami and Usopp. I was wondering where they'd gone. I comment. They weren't on the ship when I returned. Then you could also say that I got this alcohol from you. He remarks, and I frown a little, thinking back, not remembering any more barrels of alcohol aboard the ship when I returned. It must have been Nami and Usopp's doing. By the way, Dory, does it really take a year for the log to be stored? Vivi asks the warrior giant. Didn't you notice the human skulls lying around? He questions, and I look inside behind him, following his gaze to see what he means, mountains of human skulls piling up behind him. Those who come to this island die before the log is stored in most cases. Some become dinosaurs' food, some suffer from the heat and starvation. Some others are killed because they attack us. They all die. It seems that 1 year on this island is too long for humans. He explains, seems reasonable seeing the wildlife around us. What are we gonna do? Even if we could survive for a year, if that much time passes, I don't know what will happen to my country by then. Vivi worries she has too much on her shoulders for one person. Yeah, I get bored, too, if we stay here for a year, Luffy remarks. Luffy, that's not what she meant. I sigh as I awkwardly pat her back, trying to comfort her. Isn't there another way? I ask the giant as he drinks the first barrel. We do have an eternal pose, but it's to our hometown, Elbaf. In other words, we're fighting for this eternal pose. Do you want to try taking it by force? He asks us, but I shake my head as it's all over the new world. That's no good, that's not where we want to go. Luffy declines. We just want to go to the island after this one. Right? He asks as he turns to the princess. Yes, if we lose the route to Alabasta, there's no point in moving forward. She tells them, and I nod along, knowing what she means. Then why don't you move forward randomly? Dory suggests, and I look at him in surprise. If you're lucky, you'll get there. Luffy looks at him blankly before bursting out in laughter, and I shake my head at the goofball. Maybe we'll do that. He laughs. We may actually get there, huh? He laughs, and Dory joins in. Come to think of it, there was someone who left before the log was stored. Dory brings up. What happened to him? Luffy asks no. Dory laughs, and Luffy joins in again. Even Karoo looks like he wants to laugh. He must have gotten to the next island. Luffy giggles. That must be it. Dory laughs, and they both laugh. I can't help laughing as well, feeling Vivi's grumpiness when suddenly, Dory seems to explode from the inside as flames spark out of his mouth, and he falls on his back with smoke billowing out of his mouth. Old giant guy. What's going on? Why did the alcohol explode? That was the alcohol we had on our ship, right? Luffy questions as he climbs on his chest. It exploded in his stomach, I announce as I look worried. His opponent must have laid the explosive, Vivi suggests, and Luffy looks at her angrily as he jumps down in front of her. What the hell were you watching? They've been fighting for 100 years. No way they'd do something like this, he growls at her. Then who on earth? She questions us, and I can only think of one person on this island. You bastards did, Dory growls at us angrily, and I look at him in worry. It wasn't Brogy. We're proud warriors of Elbaf. Who else besides you should I be suspicious of? Karoo lets out a shriek and runs away, leaving the princess behind. Let's get out of here for now. It's probably no use saying anything to him, Vivi warns him, and she's not wrong. Giants are stubborn, but still, this means that Mr. 5 must have something to do with this. But why would he target Dory? It's probably no use even if we run. Luffy reasons, takes his hat off, and passes it to me. Hold this and stay back. Don't tell me, are you going to fight? She asks him. I feel bad to do this to the old guy, but I'll quiet him down. He reasons both of them are ready for a fight. Both of you stop, please, she begs them, but it won't go through to either of them, both seemingly as stubborn as the other. Dory, please listen. We really don't know anything about it, anything about the alcohol that exploded. So please don't fight. You have to stay calm. Your insides are in bad shape right now. Why should I believe you, liars? He snaps back at her, too worked up to listen to reason, and lifts his sword with a struggle. Luffy jumps up, running along the dull blade towards him, and goes to punch him, but Dory knocks him down with his shield. Luffy gets back up and stretches his arms into the jungle as Dory goes to swing at him, and Luffy comes back as Dory coughs up blood. Luffy rockets into the injured giant's stomach, which spits up more blood, and both fall. Dory seems angrier and stomps on the rubber idiot. Vivi shrieks, calling out his name. So he has the powers of a devil fruit. I underestimated him. Dory groans before falling face first into the ground, and Luffy gets up from the indent his body made. Vivi and I jog over to check on the rubber boy, who seems okay now. Luffy, are you all right? She asks him. How's the old guy? He asks her back, ignoring her question. He's okay, I answer him. This is actually good. Otherwise, he wouldn't have calmed down, she points out. I'm angry, he announces as I give him his hat back on his head. Like the old guy said, this alcohol explosion isn't the act of the other giant, and my friends would never do a stupid thing like that. Then who on earth, she wonders. There's someone else on this island, I announce, and they both look at me in surprise. I saw them before I went looking for you. It's Miss Valentine and Mr. 5. It explains the explosive alcohol. They look at each other as I explain. That does make sense. They must have followed up here after what happened in Whiskey Peak. Vivi agrees. Yeah, but they don't seem like the type to do things behind the scenes. They're more the upfront type, so who's pulling their strings? I wonder when one of the volcanoes will erupt again, shaking the island. That volcano is, if I'm not mistaken, Vivi whispers as we look at the volcano continue to spark, meaning the two giants will become giants again. Dory seems to wake from the sound of the eruption and tries getting to his feet, but he's too badly injured. Hey, wait, old guy, don't go, Luffy yells up at him, but it won't work. You can't go, Dory. You need to keep still, you'll die if you push yourself too hard. Vivi tries reasoning with the giant, but it doesn't work again. I, warrior Dory, am here, at the very least. He coughs up more blood, still injured. I will fight to uphold the name of Elbaf. He gets up, walks over to the holy rock face, and lifts it slightly off the ground heading towards us. Awesome. He picked up that gigantic rock, Luffy exclaims, not seeing the danger. Luffy, Vivi and I call out to him as the giant places the rock on top of him. The dust settles as we watch him struggle to free himself. What are you doing, old guy? Move this rock. Hey, Luffy yells as he smacks his hands down on the ground in protest. It can't be stopped, Dory tells him. It was over 100 years ago when we started the battle. But running from a battle you've started is the same as running from the title of warrior. If I am no longer a warrior, I will no longer be me. I'm sorry I suspected you. This is the judgment given by Elbaf, the god of war. I didn't have his divine protection. That's all. Dory says as he catches his breath each time he stops, still too injured to stand but willing to fight. Gods and divine protection and all that have nothing to do with this. If a god told you to die, would you? This duel has been interfered with. A duel that's been interfered with isn't a duel anymore. Isn't that right? Luffy yells from the ground to the brave giant. Be quiet. Dory snaps at him, not wanting to hear reason. You've lived only a mere 10 or 20 years. You wouldn't understand the grand words of Elbaf. He walks off to face his friend in an unfair duel with a clear winner. But I hope the blades on their weapons are dull enough for him to survive. Who gives a crap about that? Hey, move this thing. Hey, old guy. Hey, old guy. Hey, damn it. I can't move this. Luffy continues to yell and punch the rock face trapping him. Dakota, move this. No, I answer his request, and he looks at me angrily. It won't do any good. A giant's duel is deadly for humans. Especially when they come from Elbaf. I warn him and return the glare. Getting in their way will be like crushing their spirits and spitting on everything they believe in. I can't let you interfere because I have faith that Dory will come back alive. How can you have such faith? Vivi asks me as we hear the clashing of the giants' weapons. Because I've seen giants fighting before, they're true warriors, and they've never waved even in 100 years. And well, weapons don't usually stay the same after such a long time. I reply as Luffy continues to punch at the rock, trapping him in place. Move, you stupid thing. Come on, he yells as he punches and seems to give up a little. Just when it seemed like I met an awesome warrior. Luffy, Vivi whispers as she watches him, and I sit beside him, placing my hand on his hat. Why would they tamper with the giants' fight? He growls. I'll kill them. Come to think of it, Karoo is gone. Vivi announces, and I see the bird hasn't returned. I'm sure he's fine, princess, I assure her as she looks into the trees worrying for the duck. He could be lost or worse, she panics. He's probably gone back to the ship. I try again, but it doesn't seem to be working when I hear screaming coming towards us. I get to my feet as a blur comes sailing through the air, slamming into one of the rocks and bouncing off into another. I watch Usopp fall to the ground, shaking my head as he groans in pain but stops bouncing to his feet and runs over to us. Terrible news. A dinosaur ate Nami, he announces in horror. Seriously? Luffy yells, and I raise an eyebrow looking at him. We were running through the jungle to get away from it, and then suddenly she was gone. Oh, what do I do now? I let my friend get killed. Usopp panics. Probably war will do to him. Hold on, calm down. You two? Vivi snaps at the boys as they freak out. If she suddenly disappeared, does that mean you don't know for sure? Are you crazy? I was too terrified to check and make sure. If it wasn't a dinosaur, it was a wild beast. What else could it have been? Usopp yells at her. I don't know, she admits, but I cough, and they look at me. We have a guess. Mr. Five and Miss Valentine followed us from Whiskey Peak to this island, so that's another possibility. They know about Nami and not you, so they would have targeted her, Zoro, Luffy, Vivi and me, as that otter informed Mr. Zero about us. I tell them, and Usopp gasps dramatically. Baroque Works is on the island. But, why wouldn't they target me? He asks us. Because you're most likely not on Baroque Works' assassination list, Vivi explains. Oh, I see, he agrees, nodding his head. Plus, that alcohol might have been meant for us, too, she points out, and I nod at the possibility. Alcohol? What about alcohol? He asks her. Rogi brought your alcohol to Dory, and when Dory drank it, it exploded inside his stomach. She explains a little more. What? Alcohol exploded inside his stomach? He exclaims and turns to look over at the battling giants. You're saying he went to the battlefield all busted up like that? I tried to stop him, but I wound up like this instead, and Dakota won't move it. Luffy jumps in and throws a glare my way, which I return. You can't be serious. Those two fought evenly for 100 years with all their might. It's probably the most pride-filled battle in the entire world. He yells, and Luffy agrees with him. They can't settle the fight like this now. There's a sudden cry out, and we all look towards the fighting giants to see a spurt of blood rise high into the air. Meaning Dory is hit, and he's crying out in pain, followed by a thunderous crash. I close my eyes and hang my head, and Luffy growls. I turn to see him smacking his head into the ground in anger. Luffy, stop it. We yell at him. Show yourself. He screams and continues to struggle free. Alright, Luffy, I dunno who we're dealing with, but I'll go take care of them myself. Usopp snaps, his legs shaking. We'll come too, Usopp. I tell him and point to the princess and myself. Yes, please come with me. That'd be reassuring, he begs, still shaking. There's no need for that, Mr. Five announces, and I see him, his partner Miss Valentine, and Karoo. You guys, Luffy growls as we look at the Baroque Works officer agents. Mr. Five throws Karoo to the ground, and Vivi gasps and runs to her precious bird. You can have him back. We don't need him, Mr. Five says, and Miss Valentine laughs as Vivi reaches Karoo, seeing the beaten-up bird thanks to the agents. Karoo, she gasps in shock at the statue of the oversized duck. Why, Usopp growls but stops and looks at me, pointing to the two officer agents. Hey, who are they? They're Mr. Five and Miss Valentine. We met them back in Whiskey Peak, I tell him. What are you doing here? Karoo has nothing to do with this. Vivi demands an answer from them. That's right. This bird has absolutely nothing to do with this. He agrees with her. The only ones we consider dangerous are the Straw Hat Man and Red Devil Woman. We were planning to lure you three out by having this bird squawk, but he was just too obstinate. But then we saw Straw Hat already took himself out of the picture. So we have no use for that thing anymore. Karoo, Vivi whispers as she looks down at the bird, who lets out a small cry as she holds his head in her hands. What a stupid bird. Miss Valentine giggles in her shrill voice. Why, Vivi growls at the Baroque Works agents. Are you the ones who put a BM in the alcohol? Usopp demands, pointing at them. Yes, that was us. Who are you? Is he on the list? Mr. Five asks his partner. No, he must be their friend. But let's make him disappear, too, she suggests as if we can't hear them. So you interfered with the giant's duel? Usopp snaps. I hold onto his arm to stop him from moving. It was them. I'll kick their asses, Luffy yells as he tries to pull himself from under the rock. You're the ones who are going to disappear. Vivi snaps as she gets to her feet and gets out her weapons, spinning them around. Oh, you're going to try struggling, Miss Wednesday? Mount 5 mocks her as his partner stands behind him, giggling again. Do you stand a chance against us, officer agents? Miss Valentine giggles as Vivi breaks out into a run towards them. Peacock Slasher, she yells, and Usopp breaks out of my hold and runs after her with his slingshot. Take this. Special attack. Exploding star. He yells and launches it at them, exploding on impact. A dark cloud of smoke covers them. Yes. He cheers too soon as Miss Valentine floats out of the clouds, laughing. What a nice explosive blast, she giggles, and a hand comes out of the smoke. Nose fancy cannon. Mr. Five yells and aims at Usopp, shooting at the sniper, and it explodes on impact. Miss Valentine hovers above him. What a pity, she giggles, and I run towards him. Usopp! Luffy shouts out to our crewmate. I reach him as she begins her descent, already unconscious from the direct hit from the bomb. 10,000 kilogram press, she yells, and at the last minute, I push him out of the way. I feel her hit my head and knock me to the ground, cracking the surface at the force. I look through the smoke to see Usopp unconscious in the dirt in front of me as I feel myself losing consciousness. One Piece. Little Garden Arc. I open my eyes slowly, seeing a blurry vision as I blink, trying to focus my eyes as I gain consciousness. But my anger at being taken down so easily by that blonde shrieking officer agent. Dakota, Usopp. I hear Luffy call out to us. Dakota, Usopp, can you let them get away with this? No, I can't, Usopp replies, both of them straining to talk. Not a chance, I agree as I try getting to my feet. Can you not stand this? Luffy asks, and I turn my head to see Karoo trying to dig him out from under the rock and let out a sort of war cry, which seems to perk Luffy up. Alright, let's all four of us go beat them senseless. I get to my feet on shaking legs, trying to find my footing. We need to find out where they are and take them down quickly. I warn them as I crush off the dirt on my leather jacket and pick Usopp on his feet. Move out of the way, Karoo, I order the bird, dig deep, and punch the ground in front of Luffy's head, allowing it to crack, and Luffy squirms free. Let's get these losers. Yeah. They scream and run off without me. I sigh as I watch them run off and jog behind them as they continue to run ahead of me. One Piece. Little Garden Arc 3rd POV. The boys sail through the jungle as Dakota jogs close behind them, and they jump into the air and spin a little as they fly through a small clearing straight across to the other end, crashing into a set of trees. Hey, you guys. I'm gonna kick your asses just so you know, Luffy yells as he goes flying, leaving the others all in shock. What? Mr. 3 questions as he looks over at the cloud of dust that clears, showing the sniper, captain and Duck ready to fight. Let's do it, Usopp, Luffy yells at his crewmate beside him as he fixes his hat. Yeah, he yells in agreement. Bird, he yells, and the Duck lets out a squawk of agreement. Dakota, he yells, and she grins with determination. Of course, Captain, she yells, and the others look back and forth, seeing them both looking at the officer agents with the determination to get their friends back and take them down. Luffy, Usopp, Dakota, Nami calls out to her crewmates. Karoo, Vivi calls out in relief at seeing her longtime friend and companion. Master Brogy, we've taken on your frustration, Usopp growls as they begin to walk towards the others. Usopp, Brogy mutters but is still audible. Beat those guys up so much they lose their original forms and send them flying far off somewhere saviors. Yeah, I will. Luffy yells back as he cracks his knuckles angrily. These guys spoiled the old giant guy's duel. So you're the one with the highest bounty in the East Blue? Mr. 3 questions as he looks at the straw hat wearer and turns to Dakota as she snarls at him. And the youngest female to have a bounty put on her head and such a high one too. He comments with a grin. How Marine headquarters standards have fallen. Whoa, what a weird head. Luffy gasps in shock as he looks at his enemy. Quiet, you. Mr. 3 snaps at the rubber boy. It's the number 3, and it's on fire. He stares in awe, easily distracted. Shut up. Break this pillar first, Luffy. We're about to turn into wax figures. Nami shouts over at her captain. Oh, you're in trouble? He asks them, seeming to just notice the 3 stuck in wax atop the candle set. No, there was no problem at all, Zoro assures them, but Dakota rolls her eyes at his bravado. Hey, your legs. Nami yells, alerting the redhead, who snaps her head in their direction, smelling the blood. Yeah. I went about halfway through, I'd say. He replies, feeling the pain but working through it as the blood pool around his feet and drips down the side of the candle set. How is that no problem at all? Nami demands in anger at the swordsman. For now, could you bust this pillar for us, Luffy? I leave the rest to you. He tells her, and Dakota shakes her head at the swordsman. Alright, no problem. Luffy agrees easily. Men, I might stick to just women from now on, Dakota grumbles. I wouldn't be so sure. Mr. 3 mutters to himself with a grin. Dunno what it is, but let's break that thing, he exclaims as he looks up at the spinning pumpkin with lit candles atop. Alright. Got it. Usopp agrees as they stare up at the candle set. I'm a bit of a different person today. Break the pillar, Luffy. Nami cries out at her captain. Dakota sinks back into the dense jungle as the Baroque Works agents aren't looking to give a surprise attack and to control herself at the scene of Bloodpoint 3 Road POV. Break the pillar, Luffy. Nami cries out at her captain. Dakota sinks back into the dense jungle as the Baroque Works agents aren't looking to give a surprise attack and to control herself at the scene of blood. Zoro, what are you doing? If I'm gonna be solidified, I prefer this pose. He replies as the girls next to him look at his strange pose. This is no time to be playing around, Vivi snaps at them. I'm not playing, he replies, looking ahead, not seeing Dakota's noticeable red hair anywhere. Anyways, do something about your leg. It's painful just looking at it, Nami whines, looking down at the pool of blood. Then quit looking at it. You're the idiot who suggested cutting our legs off in this situation so we could escape. I was gonna cut him off so we could fight. That's even stupider, get serious. Just shut up, honestly. You have no common sense. Vivi watches the other two bicker in disbelief, thinking they don't fully understand the situation. Hey, Runt. Is that all the struggling you got? Brogy asks the swordsman. Yeah. Looks like it's someone else's turn now. Zoro replies with a grin, turning his head stiffly. I see, he grins back as Miss Goldenweek sets up a little tea set and picnic blanket and points at the captives. Mr. 3. Those people don't seem concerned at all. She points out, angering her partner at her laid-back attitude. I could say the same about you, Miss Goldenweek. He snaps at her and looks up at the 3 humans. Hey, if you're gonna do a pose, now's your chance, Zoro comments. Don't put me on your level, Nami retorts with a scoff. Mr. Bushido, please be more serious about this, Vivi whines at him. I'm always serious, he replies. More like stupid, Nami snaps at him. Like you're one to talk, he snaps back at her. It seems we're being mocked. This is truly displeasing. Ever since he showed up, they've been… Mr. 3 stops and thinks about it quickly and perks up at the idea running through his head. It couldn't be. Alright. Luffy grunts as he smacks his fists together. He hardly seems to be that reliable of a man. Mr. 3 mutters to himself as he looks at the straw hat wearer. Mr. 3. We'll finish him off. Mr. 5 suggests as he and Miss Valentine walks closer. Finish him off? He repeats and looks away. Don't be silly. Just look, he showed up here alive and well because your attacks don't work. At the very least, he's at a level that's too much for you to handle. He angers his fellow agents and crouches as he readies to attack. You two can take care of the others. I think I'll add Straw Hat Luffy and Red Devil Dakota to my wax figure collection. He chuckles in glee, not seeing the impending danger. You guys are too damn annoying. Usopp snaps at them. You've gone a bit too far. Give yourselves up. Karoo lets out a squawk of agreement. Small fry. Mr. 3 mutters and moves his hand down to release some of the wax. Let's do it, Usopp yells, and Karoo squawks in agreement and runs back into the trees to safety with Dakota behind them. Alright. Preparations are complete. We got your back, Luffy. Did you say something? Luffy asks the long-nosed sniper. Now, you're mine. Candle lock. Mr. 3 yells and throws out his hand. A wax line covers the ground heading for Luffy's and wraps around his ankles, making him fall to the ground. What is that? Usopp freaks as he watches. Seems like wax, Dakota comments calmly, startling the other two in front of them. Killer. Don't scare me like that, Usopp complains, holding a hand over his heart, feeling it racing 100 miles a second. Sorry, but we need a plan, she tells him, and he nods as they watch, discussing quickly and quietly their next move. Luffy. Vivi cries out. Damn, he's already gotten caught. Zoro huffs at his captain. Idiot. Nami scolds him. What's this? It's heavy, like a mallet. Luffy marvels at the object stopping him from moving his legs. How simple. Now for your hands, Mr. 3 yells and goes again, but Luffy doesn't pay him any mind. Oh, this is perfect, he gushes as he knocks on the hardened wax. Candle lock, Mr. 3 yells and goes again, but Luffy sees it coming and jumps up as it comes towards him. Whoa, he yells as he jumps away and lands on his hands before jumping away again, stretching his arm towards Brogy's horn on his helmet and wrapping his arm around it. Old giant guy. Sorry to bother you. He flies towards the giant and spins himself around the horn. What's he up to? Mr. 3 questions as he watches Luffy spin himself around, gaining momentum, and Brogy grows dizzy watching him. Gum gum, Luffy shouts as he spins around. Wait, Luffy, Dakota's seen the problem, yells out to him, but it's too late. Mallet. Luffy shouts as he crashes into the pillar holding the pumpkin with the candles on top. He did it. Vivi and Nami cheer as the pillar breaks in half and falls away. Yahoo! Luffy cheers but the pumpkin falls towards them. They scream in fear, but it crashes on top of the candle set, closer to them. Lucky. The mallet on my legs broke, too. Luffy comments as he holds onto the horn easily and looks over at the candle set to see that the 3 captives are still there, continuously being turned into wax figures. Huh? I'm alive. Nami breathes out a sigh of relief. We survived. Vivi breathes out a sigh of relief. That didn't help things at all. Zoro snaps. Phew, that was dangerous. Why didn't you guys run? Luffy asks them, oblivious to the Searstons. We can't move, isn't it obvious? The girls yell at him. Oh, really? But you guys told me to break the pillar? Were you lying? He asks them. Is it really a good idea to put our lives in his hands, Mr. Bushido? Vivi snaps at the swordsman. Don't look at me. That's the only choice we got here. Plus it looks like my arms are stuck now. He replies calmly, knowing Luffy and Dakota can get them out of it along with Usopp. Please be serious about this, Vivi screams at him. Hold on, it feels like my body is hardening more and more now. I can't move at all now. Nami panics and Mr. 3 sees the terror on her face, giggles with glee, and then outright laughs. Fools! With the candles closer, your hardening has sped up. Now you can become wax figures even quicker. Mr. 3 laughs with glee. That guy thinks he can act all smug and arrogant. Usopp growls and looks up at Dakota. They always fall the hardest, and we know what we have to do, Dakota warns him, and he nods. Right. He agrees with a slight grin. Hey, you guys are gonna be wax figures? Luffy asks them. That's what we've been trying to tell you, Nami snaps at him. Just destroy this set, Luffy. Vivi begs him. Alright, okay. He replies, knowing what he has to do. Luffy, Dakota yells out to him, gaining his attention, and he looks over to see his sister standing in front of the cowardly new duo in the trees. Listen, focus on Mr. 3. We can handle the rest of these losers. Gotcha, he grins, and she smiles as he turns to Mr. 3, who grows angry. I told you I won't let you interfere. Mr. 3 yells and throws his arm out. Wax wax arts. Harpoon. He forms a line connected to his hand and aims it at Luffy. Usopp readies his slingshot as Mr. 3 opens himself up for attack. Exploding star. He yells as he releases the ballet towards the agent, who looks over in fear, but Mr. 5 jumps in and swallows the ballet whole as the harpoon crashes into the horn, cracking some of the hard wax as Luffy jumps away. Mr. 5's stomach explodes, growing round, then goes back to normal as Luffy lands in front of the two male agents, and Mr. 5 burps out a ring of smoke from the bomb. That was rather bland. You don't use very good gunpowder, Mr. 5 comments as he looks at the sniper. He ate the exploding star, Usopp gasps in surprise. This is bad. It really is fast. Good thing I posed beforehand. Zoro remarks as he feels the effects of the wax hardening around him. You idiot. Nami snaps at him in anger. Luffy, please, hurry. Vivi cries out, and Luffy goes chest his arms backwards. Alright, that pumpkin's the bad thing, right? Hang on, Gum Gum. He yells, beginning his attack. It's no use, Mr. 3 yells as he forms more wax in the palm of his hand. Candle wall. Bazooka. Luffy yells as his hands stretch towards the agent, but the wax wall forms before him, stopping the attack. Hey, you! Don't get in my way, he snaps at the Candleman. That would be my line. I'd appreciate it if you didn't interfere with my creative activities. Candle lock. He says and throws another loud of wax Luffy's way, who jumps, but the wax covers his hand, which works in his favor. I got a mallet, Luffy grins, all giddy, as he stretches his arm behind him. Gum Gum. Oh, no, candle wall. Mr. 3 yells as he forms another wall of wax, this time to protect himself from the rubber boy, but the wax-on-wax collision with the strength of the hit causes the wall to crack, making the Candleman nervous as he sees the pieces chip away, revealing Luffy fist. Luffy feels the wax giving way and punches forward, hitting Mr. 3 square in the face with a cry of pain and sending him crashing into the ground. The other two agents look back in shock as Usopp and Karoo have a little celebration. You two, stop that. Dakota hisses, knowing the two agents in front of them will turn their attention to the next. Mr. 3, impossible. Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine gasp in surprise at what they witnessed as Luffy stands, seeming less like himself. Luffy, hurry and break this set while there's still time. Nami yells over to him, knowing he'll save her. No, he answers her, not looking at her. Quit joining around and hurry, she snaps at him. No, he answers her again. This is no time to be acting stupid. Zoro yells at him as the pumpkin gains more speed above them, and they're becoming wax figures quicker. Luffy, please. Vivi begs him. What should I do? I don't feel like saving you guys. He tells them, and everyone who knows him looks in shock at their straw hat wearing captain. What are you saying? Nami whispers, scared that he's serious. Luffy, get your butt moving. Mr. 3 isn't going to be down for long. Dakota yells at him, And everyone sees him flinch at the anger in her voice at her little brother's behavior. Colors trap. Miss Goldenweek says and takes a bite of her cracker. Luffy feels the strain of not moving, wanting to move, but his body won't listen to him. Hey, Luffy. There's no time. Do something about this thing already, Zoro yells over to his captain. Yeah, I know. He answers, seeming tired or unbothered by his friend's distress. Then hurry. Vivi yells at him. Yeah, Luffy. Nami yells at him too. I know, but I don't feel like saving you, he tells them, and they grow angry at him and his strange manner. Why do you keep saying that? We're the ones who are about to be wax figures. Understand? We're about to die? Nami exclaims, trying to get it through to him. Yeah, but for some reason, I just can't get motivated, he tells them. This isn't a motivation problem. The three captivates scream at him in anger at his words. Damn it. What's happened to him? Usopp mutters as Dakota stands beside him, and he feels the anger coming off of her in waves. He's never seen her this angry. Our friends are going to die if he doesn't hurry up, she snarls through gritted teeth. Usopp cowers a little and looks towards their captain. I'll bring him back to his senses. Let's go, Karoo. Usopp takes his eyes off the battlefield before him, and Karoo shrieks, alerting Usopp to Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine's arrival. When did you? Give it up. He's already fallen into a trap. Mr. 5 tells them as Dakota carefully slides out of her sleeve one of her red-bladed switchblades from her right jacket sleeve. That's right. See where he's standing? Miss Valentine gives them a clue with a smug grin on her face. Where he's standing, Usopp repeats and pushes his lenses off over his eyes and looks with Karoo around the agents. Let's see here. Looking down at Luffy's feet, he sees black paint underneath the grass. What's that? There's a strange black pattern. He looks back up at the agents. What's so important about that? You're right. It's nothing. It's just paint. Miss Valentine tells him and lets out a laugh, irritating Dakota further. Paint, he repeats again, not seeing what's so funny. In other words, both you and them are goners. Mr. 5 says, takes his hands out of his pockets, and kicks towards Usopp. But Dakota pulls him and Karoo away in time as Mr. 5's foot makes contact with the tree, setting off an intense explosion. Usopp and Karoo cry out as they sit on the ground, and Miss Valentine laughs. Dakota hauls the two up and pushes them off. Usopp, Karoo, you know what to do. She tells them, and Usopp gets onto Karoo's back, and they ride off, leaving Dakota behind. He's planning to escape on the bird, Miss Valentine complains. Let's get him. Mr. 5 tells her, and they run but stop as they see Dakota standing before them. Did you forget about little young me? She jokes as she flicks the blade out of her switchblade, revealing the red-colored edge as she points it out. I wouldn't if I were you. Seeing them grow angry, she steps towards them, aiming for the blonde agent who defects it. Moving Dakota's hand up, Miss Valentine hits Dakota's other hand with the switchblade. She pushes it in time, flipping the knife away and goes for another swipe as Mr. 5 leaves his partner behind heading into the jungle. One Piece. Little Garden Arc. Usopp and Karoo get a head start and run into the jungle away from the agents. Sprint at full speed. Usopp yells at the duck, who lets out a squawk of agreement as he runs faster though Usopp isn't aboard. Hey, you, wait, I haven't gotten on yet, Karoo? He tries catching up, and the oversized bird looks behind in fear of seeing the agent with a dangerous kick. Hey, alright. Stop, let me get on. Karoo keeps running, not wanting to slow down as Usopp tries to get on. What's the point in being scared of me? He cries out, not realizing that he's being followed. One Piece. Little Garden Arc. At the candle set, Vivi sees someone familiar standing behind Luffy, wearing a wide-brimmed pink hat. Miss Goldenweek. Vivi gasps, having heard of the teenager with the young appearance. This is your doing. Colors trap. Betrayal black. She answers in a monotone voice. Touch the black paint, and you'll want to betray your friends, no matter what they say. What does she mean? What happened? Explain, Nami demands. She's a realist painter, who can even create real colors of emotion. Vivi explains, and Nami looks at her in confusion, not entirely understanding. Her refined sense of color can manipulate people's minds through the use of her paints. Manipulate? That's not good. That simple-minded idiot is already easy enough to manipulate, Zoro complains as he looks down at his captain in annoyance. Then doesn't he just need to get away from that paint? Nami asks, and Vivi doesn't get the chance to answer her. Luffy, get away from there. No, don't, Luffy. Whatever you do, do not move from that black circle. I'm begging you. Vivi yells at him, cutting off Nami. Vivi, why? Nami calls out to her. We don't want you to save us at all. She yells at him, saying the opposite to get him to move off the paint. No, he answers and steps backwards off of the paint. I get it. You made him do the exact opposite of what you said, Zoro says as Luffy snaps out of it, gaining control. I was kind of weird just now, Luffy comments as he holds his head, feeling confused. Luffy, hurry. Vivi calls out to him. Alright. I'll save you right now. He yells as he spins his arm around, gaining speed and about to stretch when Miss Goldenweek strikes, painting in yellow on the back of his red vest. Luffy stops and tries to hold back from bursting out in laughter but fails as he laughs for no reason. But never mind you guys. I just wanna laugh. He laughs, angering the three captives. Now what? Nami, Zoro and Vivi growl at the Straw Hat wearer, who can't stop laughing. Colors trap. Laughter yellow. Miss Goldenweek says and looks down at the laughing idiot on the floor. You know you're not supposed to move. She warns him, and Nami spots the yellow paint on the back of his vest. Now it's on his clothes. Nami gasps, Luffy, hurry and take off that clothing. And never mind that. Luffy laughs, getting into a sitting position, holding his stomach as he laughs. I just feel like laughing, he stops to say but continues laughing more. Not good, Zoro comments as he looks down at the laughing rubber boy. If it keeps raining down at this pace, we WNT last one more minute. Try me, Blondie, they hear Dakota shout, and a blur of yellow and blue flies out of the trees on the ground of the clearing, and Usopp riding the duck comes running out of the trees with Mr. Five running behind them. Dakota calmly walks towards the fallen Miss Valentine, who tries to get to her feet. Dakota stands in front of her as she tries getting to her feet, badly beaten with cuts bleeding covering her body, and Usopp and Karoo run away from Mr. Five. Did you guys come here to play? Zoro yells out to Usopp as Dakota kicks Miss Valentine under her chin, sending her into Luffy, crashing to the ground, smudging the paint on Luffy's back. Look, when Miss Valentine flew into him, the paint on his back smudged. Nami announces as Luffy gets up from the ground. Usopp rides off with Karoo, and Dakota continues fighting with Miss Valentine. Did I wind up doing something again? He wonders, gets to his feet, and looks at Miss Goldenweek, who stands behind him. Hey, you! Knock it off, you jerk. Was laughter yellow funny? Miss Goldenweek asks him. Shut up, are you stupid? Stupid? He yells at her and turns away back to the candle set. Anyways, I gotta break that pumpkin, gum gum, he stretches his arms back. Colors trap bullfight red. Miss Goldenweek yells as she paints on the ground before Luffy as he slingshots his arms out. Bazooka! He yells, but his hands aim for the red painted mark on the ground. Where are you aiming? Zoro yells at him. You're not allowed to break it, you'll make Mr. 3 angry, she remarks. What is this? Luffy snaps in anger. Just as bulls rush at red capes, you feel the urge to attack that bullfight red mark. Too bad. Miss Goldenweek tells him. I can't stand you anymore. Get out of here. He yells and tries again. Gum gum bazooka. His hands land on the red paint again. Having fun? She asks him teasingly. It's no good, this isn't his kind of fight. All his power is useless. Nami complains as she watches. Now, to finish it with this, Miss Goldenweek says as she uses her blue paint. I'll mix the laughter yellow on your back with sadness blue. Colors trap tranquil green. Once the color mixes on his back, turning dark green, Luffy's anger seems to disappear, and he walks over with Miss Goldenweek to her picnic blanket to enjoy some tea and crackers. Such nice tea. Luffy compliments as he takes a sip of the hot beverage. You idiot, the three captives yell at the rubber teen. So, what happens now? Nami asks and watches as Dakota defends herself. Miss Valentine punches her, wraps her hands around Dakota's forearm, and hauls her, overusing her body weight and smashing Dakota into the ground. Dakota groans, feeling the dent her body made as she kicks Miss Valentine in the stomach, sending her into the side of the candle set, creating a fissure. Stupid blonde ditz. Dakota mumbles as she gets to her feet and looks over to Luffy, seeing him enjoying the tea party with the enemy. Moron. See, I told you should have posed. Too bad for you, Zoro teases the girls. How can you still be so calm about this? Vivi snaps at him. One Piece. Little garden arc. Usopp riding on Karoo in the jungle with Mr. 5 not far behind him, seeing how fast the duck can be. Damn, they run away fast. He complains as he tries catching up to them and jumps into the air, picking his nose again. Nose fancy double cannon. He flicks them in front of Karoo, trying to hit them, but the bird dodges and runs through the cloud of smoke as they go off. You missed. Way to go, Karoo. Usopp laughs as Karoo lets out a squawk and continues running off away. My turn. Special attack. Lead star. He loads his slingshot and shoots, but Mr. 5 tilts his head out, the shot missing as they run off. We gotta go back to Luffy and the others again. I'm getting nowhere chasing them all around. Mr. 5 complains, reaches into his trench coat's inner pocket, and pulls out a pistol. I didn't want to use it on such small fires, but there's no dodging this. He admires the gun. A .44 caliber, 6-shot flintlock revolver. A new South Blue model. It can fire continuously, and if I use it, the bullets are invisible. One Piece. Little garden arc. Usopp thinks about earlier and what Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine said about Paint needing to help Luffy and Dakota take down the agents. Hurry! He yells at the duck, who picks up speed with a quack. One Piece. Little garden arc. Usopp returns to the clearing to see Vivi, Nami, and Zoro, covered in wax, along with his master Brogy. Dakota and Miss Valentine still brutally fight one another, and Luffy sits on a picnic blanket enjoying a cup of tea with Miss Goldenweek. Aw. Such nice tea, Luffy states, seeming a little forced. Such nice. Luffy, what are you doing? Usopp demands in anger that his captain hasn't done anything to stop his friends from turning into wax statues. Such nice tea, he strains in, saying, What are you doing, you idiot? The sniper demands again and notices the green paint on his back where the yellow color was once. It's over for all of you. This is my ultimate ability. Mr. 5 walks up towards the clearing, removes the revolver, and opens the cylinders blowing into each chamber. Usopp and Karoo jump into the air aiming for Luffy as he gets out his slingshot and loads a pellet. Special attack. Exploding star. Usopp yells as he lets go, and the ballet flies towards the picnic couple as Mr. 5 shoots up at Usopp and Karoo, who land on the ground. The ballet catches fire and aims for Luffy, setting him on fire. Miss Goldenweek cries out of surprise as Luffy falls onto the blanket with a yelp of pain as the fire spreads. Dakota hears the yelp of pain coming from her brother and looks over, distracted, allowing Miss Valentine to punch her in the face, sending her back and floating up into the air away from the devilish woman. What an idiot! He missed his target and hit his own friend, and she is so easily distracted, poor baby. Miss Valentine laughs as Dakota gets to her feet, wiping away the blood from the corner of her mouth. Usopp looks back at Mr. 5, wondering something as he looks at the man. Where'd his bullets go? He wonders, and something invisible comes towards him with speed. Breeze breath bomb. Mr. 5 yells as a stream of fire comes out of nowhere, exploding on impact with Usopp and Karoo, covering them in burns as they roll along the grass. I forgot to mention it, but my breath explodes. A strong backwind blows back from the previous explosion. Damn it! This is insane. He had no bullets? Usopp questions as he lies on the floor, and Dakota runs over to check on the two boys. Karoo, you alright? He asks the bird, who makes a small squawk, to let him know, and he gets up a little, looking over to his captain. Hey, you come to your senses? Why yeah, Luffy replies as he gets up to his feet, all burnt up. I'm awake, thanks. That attack was meant to burn his clothes and the trap on it to undo the mental manipulation. Miss Valentine gasps in shock as she looks at the pirate captain. Hey, don't turn your back on me. Dakota snaps at her and swings her leg at the blonde's back, making her fall. I've had enough of that paint. I refuse to let anyone else die. Now I'm mad. Luffy yells at the officer agents. So what if you're mad? Just look at your friends now. TS back at the wax figures. So what? They're still alive. He snaps back at the bomb man. Are they now? All they need now is some of Miss Goldenweek's paint, and they'll be exceptional wax figures. You're too late, Straw Hat, Mr. 5 replies, angering the teenager further, and Mr. 3 stumbles out of the trees, injured from the hit Luffy gave him. That's correct, you're not only late, but now you can experience even more despair, Mr. 3 says as he forms wax around his body and walks through the trees towards the clearing. Move out. He continues walking. Candle, champion. He yells as he shows off the vast armor covering his body. Usopp and Karoo let cries out fear as Dakota punches Miss Valentine over to her partner, who helps the beaten blonde to her feet, looking at the armor covering with a raised eyebrow. What a loser. She mumbles to herself and walks over to the duck and sniper. What's that? Luffy wonders as he looks at the armored-covered Mr. 3 in wonder at the Amur. It's said he once took down a 42 million berry bounty with this. Mr. 5 warns the pirates. Still a loser, Dakota mumbles to herself. It's Mr. 3's ultimate artistic talent. Miss Valentine mutters in shock. Now, Miss Goldenweek, perform an artistic paint job on me, Mr. 3 orders his partner. Can I take a break after that? She asks him, getting bored already. Yes, of course, I'd actually prefer you to stay out of this, like this. I am invincible. This armor is as hard as iron, and wrapped around me like velvet. My form now has no flaws. Mr. 3 boasts, and Luffy looks in awe at the armor. So cool. He marvels at the armor in front of him. Dakota and Usopp, along with Karoo, glares at him. This is no time to be admiring him. Fight. Usopp snaps at him, with Karoo squawking in agreement. Just a little more laughter yellow. Miss Goldenweek says as she does the finishing touches on the armor. Alright. Gum gum, Luffy yells as he stretches his arm behind him. Paint job complete, she announces. Now, then, Mr. 3 grits his teeth as he looks at the pirate captain. Pistol. Luffy yells as he swings his arm towards the officer agent heading towards him. Champ fight. Harvest field. Mr. 3 yells as he rotates his arms around using the boxing gloves and spikes, breaking the ground as he punches away. But Luffy jumps out of the way and stretches his leg into the air. Gum gum, stamp. Luffy growls as he swings down, but Mr. 3 crosses his arms before him, deflecting Luffy's attack, vexing the teenager. It's no use. Mr. 3 grins smugly. Not good. The guy's so solid his attacks don't work. Usopp panics as he watches Luffy jump up onto the first part of the candle set next to Vivi's statue figure and jumps back down towards Mr. 3. A haze of the wax breezes over the trio. The two humans cover their mouths, coughing at the wax. Damn! The wax haze. Usopp looks down at his hand to see the wax and rubs his fingers together. Wax? He ponders and looks up at the candles above the spinning pumpkin. Yeah? Why didn't I realize it? The fact it turns into a mist means it can melt. Dakota grins evilly back at Usopp as Luffy jumps down next to them. Luffy, keep the loser distracted. Dakota tells him. We should still be able to release the others as they only hardened a few moments ago. What, for real? Luffy asks his big sister in disbelief. Yeah, for reals. Miss Goldenweek answers him honestly, not thinking they can help their friends, and Mr. 3 looks in shock at his partner. Don't admit that to them. Mr. 3 snaps at his partner and runs towards Luffy. But even if you realize that now, you have neither time nor a chance of winning, 30 more seconds at most. After that, their hearts will completely stop. As we speak, they're probably writhing in pain with what little consciousness they have left as they experience the terror of dying. He laughs. Dakota frowns as she holds her hand up, looking at the candle set. We don't need 30 seconds. I'll save them now. Special attack. Fire, Usopp yells as he aims for the pumpkin. Breeze breath bomb. Mr. 5 yells and fires at Usopp. The air around him explodes, and he's caught in the middle, screaming in pain. Usopp. Luffy and Dakota scream to their crewmate, watching him fall, barely conscious. Did you not hear him say you have no chance of winning? Mr. 5 remarks as he watches Usopp fall to the ground. Damn it. There's no time. Luffy growls and Mr. 4 appears behind the raven-haired teenager. Give it up. Mr. 3 snaps at him, and Luffy looks behind him as the armored Candleman shadows him. It's too late to move as Mr. 3 punches down into the ground, cracking the earth and sending Luffy down. Usopp gains consciousness, remembers his plan with Dakota, gets a long piece of rope from his bag, and shifts towards Karoo. "Listen. Take this rope," he whispers to the bird, but Miss Valentine floats down between them suddenly. "Oh, this looks like fun," she speaks up, scaring them, and Dakota sees her and glares at the blonde. "Whatcha planning? Can I join in, too?" she asks them with a mean look on her face. "Karoo, run," Usopp whispers at the bird, but he doesn't move. "Run," he yells, and the duck takes off with the rope in his mouth. "Just run around all the candlesticks." Mr. Five smirks to himself as he takes the safety off of the pistol, stepping forward for a better shot. "Everything you try is pointless," he comments and holds the gun out, ready to fire. Dakota runs towards the blonde agent and pushes her away from Usopp, allowing him to get up, and the blonde agent kicks at Dakota, hitting her in the stomach, winding her. She crouches over, coughing, trying to breathe. Miss Valentine twists Dakota's arm around her behind her back, making her fall to her knees in pain, and the blonde pulls her around by her hair, causing her to fall onto her back with a cough hitting the ground hard. The blonde agent sits down on Dakota's chest with a grin as she looks down at the painful look on Dakota's face as she increases her weight. Crescendo stone. "How many kilograms can you endure, I wonder?" she questions, and Dakota moves her head to look at Usopp as he stares at her with guilt. She smiles at him, and he nods, seeing Karoo run past him and catch up to him as Mr. Five continues firing shots at them to stop their distraction plan. 10 kilograms. "PFF'd, that's nothing," Dakota mutters, angering the blonde. 100 kilograms, she says, and Dakota starts feeling the strain on her stomach and ribs. "Nope, still nothing," Dakota groans, fighting back any form of showing pain thanks to her training. 200 kilograms, she keeps going, grinning more as she feels her ribs bending into her lungs, making breathing harder. "Come on, are you even trying?" Dakota groans in pain. "Damn nimble bird." Mr. Five curses as he keeps missing Usopp and Karoo. "Damn long nose." Mr. Three chases after Luffy, tries to hit him, but due to his smaller size can dodge out of the way in time. "Give it up. Give it up. They've become my works of art." Mr. Three laughs as he spins his arm, trying to hit Luffy. "I don't think so, I won't let you have their lives," he yells at him and jumps into the air, then stretches his hand out, grabs hold of the base of Mr. Three's hair number style and drags him back to the candle set. "If fire can melt them, then I'll use this fire." "Don't pull. Stop," Mr. Three cries out, feeling his hair pull at his scalp. "Luffy!" Usopp shouts at him from Karoo's saddle as they run around the candle set, trying to distract the others long enough. "That small flame won't do it fast enough. Light Karoo's rope on fire." "The bird's rope?" Luffy asks as he drags along Mr. Three. "It's a special rope," Usopp explains as he stops the duck. Soaked in oil, he lets it out, hoping Dakota will be okay. "What a smart friend you have," Miss Valentine comments as she grins. "He has his moments," Dakota replies, still feeling the pressure. 400 kilograms, there's a deafening crack, and Dakota lets out a yelp of pain that the boys hear as blood trickles out of the corner of her, laughs with her shrill voice, and Dakota spits the blood on her blue coat, angering the blonde. "Guess you got me." She grins, knowing what's coming next. "Boys, don't worry about me," she yells out but has trouble catching her breath after. "Okay, everyone, wake up." Luffy nods as he continues dragging Mr. Three behind him, his armor useless against the rubber teen. "Hey, wait, stop," he protests, but it does nothing to stop him. "Sorry for the heat," Dakota mumbles as she closes her eyes and moves her left hand towards the candle set slowly due to the pain. Mr. Five moves in the way of Luffy and Mr. Three, thinking he's stopped them, but he hasn't, as Luffy throws him towards the candle set. "Hellfire! Inferno!" Dakota yells and points towards the candle set, and an enormous jet of blue flames shoots out of her left hand, engulfing the wax candle set and Mr. Three's unique armor. "Take that." She grins up at the shocked blonde agent as she gets to her feet, looking at the blue flames. "OWW. Hot, hot," Mr. Three complains as he tries to free himself from the armor to escape the flames licking at his skin. "What a pretty fire. Are they gonna be alright?" Luffy wonders as he looks at the blue flames in awe, still surprised to see them even though Dakota used to play with them when they were younger. Curse you, Straw Hat and Red Devil. How dare you destroy my candle service set? You'll pay for this. Mr. 3 yells at them, frees himself from his armor, and runs out of the clearing into the trees. I won't let you get away, you jerks, Luffy snaps as he sees them running into the trees for cover. Karoo and Usopp run away from the candle set as blobs of wax fall down, missing them as they scream in fright, running towards safety. Damn it! How dare you mock us? Mr. 5 growls as he looks at the blue flames melting the wax structure, and Miss Valentine straddles Dakota and punches her in the face. Now you've done it, playtime is over. She growls at the redhead and jumps off in the air. I'm going to shatter that neck of yours into pieces. Special attack. 10,000 kilogram guillotine. She yells and holds out her leg heading right for Dakota. Damn, I can't move. Dakota curses as she sees her coming right for her when out of the flames. Nami and Vivi come out armed, aiming their weapons at the beaten blonde and smacking her away. That was hot. Couldn't you have done it a different way? Nami asks her as she stands back to back with Vivi. Shut up. If we'd done it another way, it would have been the same result. Be grateful we saved your asses. Dakota snaps as she gets to her feet but feels out of breath as her rib seems to be healing wrong and poking into her lung, which is trying to heal around the rib. You're right. Thanks, Nami says as she walks over to Dakota, seeing the state she's in. This doesn't seem real, we're alive. Vivi comments as she looks at her hand. Man, what happened to you? Nami asks Dakota as she hooks her arm around her waist and moves her arm over her shoulder, keeping Dakota on her feet. The wax melted. What a pain. We can't afford to screw up our mission any further. Mr. 5 growls at the girls and points his gun at them. Mr. 5, Usopp yells, gaining their attention. They all look over to see the sniper atop the Karoo with his slingshot ready. Special attack. Exploding star. He releases the ballet, and Mr. 5 falls into the trap and eats the ballet. Fool! I've shown several times that explosives don't work on me. I'm an explosive man, he snaps at the long-nosed teen. You took the bait. Usopp grins as he watches the officer agent sweating and seeming in pain as his mouth twitches. So sorry. I'm a lair. You see, that wasn't an exploding star. It was a special Tabasco star. Spicy. Mr. 5 yells, and a jet of flames erupts from his mouth as he shouts at the sky in pain, and the flames reach high over the surrounding trees. I already proved its effectiveness the hard way. Usopp laughs at his misfortune, glad it's not him this time. Mr. 5 collapses onto his knees, hunched over in pain and slams his hand down on the ground in anger. Damn you, pirates, he yells and coughs, trying to get rid of the pain in his throat. How dare you make a mockery of me? He gets to his feet, full of rage. Time to blow up in a full-body explosion. He runs towards the coward. There won't even be bone fragments left. He grabs the back of Usopp's neck and brings him into his chest, aiming to struggle to free himself from the stronghold. No, stop, Usopp cries out as he tries to struggle free. Dakota plants her feet firmly on the ground as the 3 females raise their weapons warningly at the officer agent. Usopp. Nami calls out to her fellow coward. No, I'm sorry, I won't do it anymore. Usopp begs as he shakes in fear as he struggles in the vice-like grip, and out of the flames, Zoro appears, his swords drawn on fire as he jumps out. Flaming Oni. Jiri. He yells and jumps down towards Mr. 5, slicing at the officer agent, setting him alight with a yell of pain, and the bomb man falls onto his back, done for as Zoro puts his swords back in their sheaths. Flaming swords aren't too shabby. He comments, and the flames disappear from him and Mr. 5. Zoro. Dakota yells out in relief but tries to hide it, but Nami gives her a sly smile seeing the redhead blush a little even in pain when through the flames. Another figure appears. This time a giant Brogy slams his hand down as he crawls out of the fire. Yo. Good to see you're alive. Zoro remarks at the giant with a grin. Yeah, Brogy replies with a grin back at the swordsman and looks over at his fallen friend. Everyone sees the sadness in his eyes. Master, Usopp calls out, and Dakota sits down, feeling it more challenging to breathe again. That leaves 2 foes left, Brogy states as they all look into the trees knowing that Luffy can handle them and everything will be okay. Luffy's got this, Dakota says, falling onto her back as she feels the effects of the punctured lung. What's wrong with you? Zoro asks her, and Nami sits beside her, looking over her. I may have a broken rib or two that punctured my lung, and they're trying to heal the wrong way. She answers, and Zoro, calm on the outside, is freaking out on the inside as Nami starts testing all of her ribs on the right side before moving to her left side and near the bottom. Dakota winces in pain. Definitely 2 broken ribs and your skin seems more pale than usual, and you're having trouble breathing, Nami confirms and sighs. We'd have to set the ribs back, but that could go wrong. It's fine, they're healing on their own anyway. Maybe wrong, but I can last for a week at best. That's enough time to make it to Alabasta if we sail out today. She assures them as she holds her left side in pain. Okay, but you'll need to rest till we get there. Nami orders, and she nods in agreement. One Piece. Little garden arc within the forest. Luffy runs around trying to find Mr. 3 with Karoo running beside him after Miss Golden Week. Bird? Don't let them get away with this. Real men don't spoil people's fights, Luffy growls as they run, and the sound of Mr. 3 laughing growls louder. They come to a stop to see a horde of Mr. 3 in different poses. How good of you to come. Welcome to my wax manor. Mr. 3 greets them from within his clones. What is this? Luffy growls as he looks around at all of the wax copies. Well, then. Can you tell where I am? It would appear you picked a fight with the wrong people. We're the most intellectual team in all of Baroque works. A brute force buffoon like you who acts on instinct cannot catch us. Mr. 3 laughs as he taunts the pirate captain. I am Mr. 3. I carry out all assignments given to me flawlessly. Now, then, step forward, he chuckles to himself, thinking he's won. The moment your back is turned to me, I'll stab you. He gets a dagger. Right through the heart. He continues to laugh, and Luffy looks around and finds the man. He narrows his eyes in anger at Candleman and stretches his leg back. Gum, stamp, he grog out, heading right for the real Mr. 3, smacking him in the face with his foot into a tree and pulling his leg back, allowing the man to fall. How, did you know, I was here? Mr. 3 groans and falls to the ground on his back, unconscious. A hunch. He answers, and Karoo spots Miss Goldenweek as she tries to sneak away, but Karoo lets out an angry cry making the young teen shiver. As the duck races over to her, she looks at his approach and screams. One Piece. Little garden arc deep within the jungle at Mr. 3 and Miss Goldenweek's hideout. Sanji sits enjoying some tea, unaware of what is happening deeper in the wilderness with his crewmates. Afternoons are definitely best with Earl Grey. He takes a sip and stops in shock at his behavior. Hold on, now. This is no time for me to be drinking tea all fancy-like. Nami-san, Vivi-chan and Dakota, my love and the others might be waiting for me to help them. He sets the teacup back on the table, gets up, and looks around the wax box with circular windows on either side. Still, though, what's such a relaxing place to do in the jungle? He wonders and heads for the door when the transponder snail inside the basket goes off behind him. He stops hearing the noise and looks around to find the source of the noise. What's that? He sees the basket shaking and walks over, lifting the lid to see the transponder snail inside ringing. He picks it up and places it on the table. Oh, it's a transponder snail. He picks up the speaker, answering the call, not knowing who's on the other line. Heya. You called the crappy cafe. You want reservations? He frowns, not getting an answer, when a gruff voice comes through, sounding unimpressed. Quit following around, dumbass. Aren't you a bit late with your report? Crocodile asks him, thinking it's Mr. 3 as they've never met. Oh, report? And who might I be talking to? He asks the man. It's me. Mr. Zero. He answers, and Sanji glares down at the transponder snail. One Piece. Little garden arc back in the clearing. Brogy cries fiercely, creating a rainbow and a river from the tears he produces. Whoa! Look behind him. A rainbow. There's a rainbow. Luffy exclaims in awe, but everyone holds their hands to their ears at the loudness of his cries for his fallen friend. Even the way he cries is big. Nami complains. It's practically a waterfall, Zoro comments as he sits with Dakota. Damn, he could make another lake on the island at this rate, she adds, watching the giant cry. I understand how you fell, Master Brogy. Usopp cries with him when Dory's fingers twitch as he regains consciousness and moves to sit up, spooking everyone but Dakota, who is glad to see the giant doing okay. "Dory, how are you?" Brogy goes to ask him in shock at the resurrection of his fallen friend. "It seems I blacked out," Dory answers, feeling the pain across his chest from the wound given to him by Brogy. One Piece. Little garden arc back at the wax hideout owned by Mr. 3. Sanji is still on the line with Crocodile, the warlord, thinking it's his officer agent. "Mr. Zero?" he repeats to himself as he thinks about it, and it clicks who's on the other side of the line in Alabasta. "It's been many days since I issued your orders. What's going on?" Crocodile asks him, but Sanji stays silent as he thinks everything over. "Why the silent treatment? I asked you a question. Have you eliminated Princess Vivi and the Straw Hats?" he demands. "Yeah, mission complete. I got rid of everyone who found out about your secret, so there's no need to go after him anymore." Sanji answers him with a lie. "I see. Well done. As we speak, the Unluckies are headed your way to confirm your mission is complete and to deliver a certain package," he informs the cook. "Unluckies? Package?" he repeats, unfamiliar with who the Unlucks are and what the package could be. An eternal pose that points to the Alabasta Kingdom. "You and Miss Goldenweek will head to Alabasta. The time has come. We're about to begin our most important operation. Details will come after you reach Alabasta. Wait for my orders," he informs him when the Unluckies arrive at the hideout in the round windows looking at the cook. "What are these things?" Sanji gaps as he sees the vulture with the machine gun on its back aiming towards him and the otter with the shell split in two with 3 blades coming out of each end. "Hey, what's going on?" the warlord asks. "Oh, it's nothing," he hesitantly answers, and the vulture fires at him. Sanji ducks behind the table for cover. "What the hell?" The bird fires again, aiming towards the cook, breaking the tea set as Sanji ducks back down, and the bird stops. Sanji looks up as the otter runs towards him, dodging out of the way as it tries to cut him. "You trying to kill me? Bring it on, you damn monkey!" he yells and kicks the back of its head, sending it to the other side of the room into the wall. The otter slides down the wall unconscious, and Sanji turns to the vulture next. "I'm telling you," the bird fires at Sanji, but he handstands with one hand and places both his feet on either side of the bird's head. "To stop that, you jumbo-sized chicken," he growls and turns the vulture's neck up, causing it to fall unconscious, and the transponder snail moves towards him. "What was that? What happened?" Crocodile demands, and Sanji rushes over, answering him. "Oh, no, it isn't, I mean, it's nothing," he stutters, trying to come up with a lie. "That damn Straw Hat was still alive. It's okay, though. I finished him off. No need to worry," he tries to assure the man as he looks at Mr. 13 and Miss Friday lying unconscious on the floor. "Still alive? You just said your mission was complete. Did you not?" Mr. Zero asks, growing angry with the lying cook, who he thinks is one of his officer agents. "Yes, well, I thought it was complete, but he was much tougher than you'd believe." The love cook stutters out another lie. "In other words, the report you gave me was a lie," he states with no room for an argument. Well, I suppose so. When you put it that way, but I've gotten rid of him for sure now. So there's no need to send any more after him." "Okay," he tells him, hoping to stop them from coming after Vivi till they get to Alabasta safely. "Very well. Just head straight to Alabasta from there now," Crocodile orders. One Piece. Little garden arc in the clearing. Dory sits up, still trying to recover from waking up and the slash across his chest. "How are you still alive?" Nami questions in surprise. "It's probably because of the weapons," he answers with a struggle. "Weapons? Oh, yeah? Not even Elbaf weapons could keep up with 2 giants fighting to the death for 100 years straight," he exclaims and lets out a sigh of relief. "Talk about crazy, it's a huge miracle." Brogy attacks Dory in a hug as he laughs in relief for his friend. "Hey, Brogy, don't hold on to me. That hurts my wounds," Dory complains, though Brogy doesn't listen. "I'm so glad you're alive, friend of mine," Brogy cheers happily as Dory laughs. "Miracle, my ass. It's only natural," Zoro remarks as he moves Dakota more comfortably against his chest, feeling her rapid heart rate beating against his chest for embarrassment and the punctured lung. The fact those weapons are still intact after 100 years of constant bashing and clanging is even crazier. As are their owners. He looks down at Dakota with a blush as he looks at her peaceful face as she falls asleep, listening to his heartbeat, growing faster. What a wonderful day today is. I thank you, God of Elbaf, Brogy yells into the sky with a smile. Oh, Borgy? Was chopping me down and knocking me out that happy for you? Dory teases his friend. You dimwit, that ain't what I'm saying. He snaps a little and slaps his shoulder where his injuries are. OWW. Don't touch my wounds. He complains and laughs. Brogy joins him, and Dory punches him in the chest. And they start punching each other in the face laughing, then it turns heated. You want some of this? Yeah. I'll wipe the FTR arguing, and the others all look on with different expressions. Cool, 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 Luffy cheers, encouraging them to fight. Why are you guys fighting again? Nami screams at them and startling Dakota awake. Why? She complains and coughs a little. One Piece, little garden arc. And no further radio contact from now on. We don't want the Marines catching a whiff of us. All further orders will be sent via letter, as usual. That is all. Good luck, Mr. 3. He finishes and hangs up. Well, he's hung up. So let's see, he ponders and gets to his feet, walking over to the unluckies. What were these guys, anyway? He spots the eternal pose and picks it up, looking closer. What do we have here? One Piece. Little garden arc. Dory fixes himself up, wrapping the bandages around himself, and Nami helps Dakota wrap some around her lower rib cage to stop any movement. And the giants learn about the bounties on their heads and can't help but laugh. We had completely forgotten about the bounties on our heads, Dory laughs. But I was the reason they came to this island in the first place. Vivi bows in shame, and Nami pulls her cheek painfully to help snap some sense into her. OWW. Let's have none of that. Nami scolds her. Yeah, Vivi. What are you so down in the dumps for? Luffy asks her as he munches on a cracker he found with Karoo and Usopp. Want a rice cracker? Hey, where did you get those? Nami asks the boys. Alright, for now, let's have a rice cracker party, Luffy announces with a cheer. Rice crackers aren't very exciting, Usopp comments. Really, we can even make toasts with them, he argues, wanting to celebrate. See, does anyone blame you? Nami assures the princess. Cheers, Luffy exclaims and breaks one of the crackers. Come on, don't do that, Usopp complains, picking up the pieces of the broken cracker and dusting them off. Geez, you can't just waste food like that. He takes a bit, upsetting the captain. What are you doing? Give it here. Who said you could have mine? Give it, it's mine. Luffy yells as he roughhouses with Usopp over some crackers. Who says? Usopp yells back, and Nami winces as she feels pain in her stomach. Zoro looks over at her in concern. What's wrong? He asks her. Nothing, just a bug. She shakes him off as she scratches at the bug bite. Still, waiting a year for the log to point to the next island is pretty serious stuff, and Dakota won't last that long. He comments and looks down at the redhead as her eyes flutter open, feeling eyes on her. Yeah, it's definitely no laughing matter. Nami agrees and tries to get the boys' attention as they fight. You saved us. We would like to thank you in some way, Brogy tells them with a smile, and Luffy jumps onto a rock, pointing at the giants. Oh, in that case, you old guys can do something about our log, he suggests as if it's that simple. I'm afraid logs are the only thing we can't help you with, Dory says back, and Sanji joins them with heat in his eyes, seeing the three females. Nami-san, Dakota-chan, Vivi-chan, and you other bums? He calls out to them, though Luffy seems to be the only one happy to see him. Hey, Sanji. Luffy greets him happily as Karoo and Usopp glare at the cook. You're okay, thank goodness, he exclaims in a lovey-dovey tone as he walks towards Vivi and Nami. That jerk suddenly shows up only after we needed help, Usopp grumbles in anger, with Karoo nodding along, and Sanji notices the giants sitting by them with a shout of surprise. What in the hell? Are you Mr. 3? He yells at the giants. Hey, how do you know about Mr. 3? Nami asks him, and he turns his attention to her, seeing that she's not wearing a top. Nami-san, you're so titillating, he gushes at her with hearts in his eyes. Feel like getting slugged? She growls at him as Sanji takes his jacket off to cover Nami. Do it, Dakota yells at her and coughs again as Zoro holds her closer, feeling her breathing heavily. No, now, Nami-san. You'll catch cold dressed like that. Here you are, Sanji says as he gives Nami his jacket over her shoulders, keeping her warm. Thanks, she says as she accepts it, and he sits down. All that aside, I just finished talking with Mr. 9 via transponder snail. He informs them, freaking out Vivi. You talked to the boss? Vivi exclaims in shock. Yeah. I found this weird hideout in the jungle. You see, he seemed to think I was Mr. 3, so I told him I eliminated everyone. He tells them as Dakota and Zoro get to their feet, walking over as Sanji talks. So that means he thinks we're dead? Vivi asks him. So we're finally free of people chasing us, but we can't go anywhere, Usopp complains. Can't go anywhere? Do we still have business on this island? He asks them and reaches into his pocket for the eternal pose. Just after I managed to get a hold of this, too, he shows them the eternal pose to Alabasta, and they all stare in shock with their jaws hanging low. What? It's an eternal pose to Alabasta, Luffy exclaims with glee as they start celebrating. Hooray! Now we can set sail. Hooray! Way to go, Sanji-kun, Nami cheers along with them. Thank you, Sanji, Vivi says as she attacks him in a hug. He's glad to receive it. I was so worried for a moment there. No, it was my pleasure, I'm glad I could make you so happy, Sanji gushes as he enjoys the hug. Alright, everyone, let's have a rice cracker party. Luffy cheers as he and Nami tap their crackers together in a cheer. Oh no, Luffy, we only have 3 left. We can't have a rice cracker party. Usopp complains as he holds them up to show the others. What? Luffy gasps as he looks at them. I don't like them anyway, and I don't feel hungry. Dakota tells them as she snuggles into Zoro's shoulder and carries her in his arms. You know this is no time for that. Let's go, Captain. We don't have time to be lounging around. Dakota needs medical attention. Nami snaps at him, and Zoro walks past Sanji, who looks at the swordsman. Oh, yeah, hey, you haven't forgotten our hunting contest, I hope, Sanji comments. Nope, but I win. I caught a huge rhino, Zoro tells him, being careful of Dakota. A rhino? I assume you can eat that? Sanji replies. Of course, he replies, and Sanji looks down at Dakota as she sleeps in the swordsman's arms. What happened to her? What did you do? He demands, and Zoro turns away from his raised voice, not wanting to wake her up. One of the other agents broke her ribs, and she seems to have punctured a lung. He tells her, and Sanji grows worried for the assassin. She should be fine once we reach Alabasta. Good. Sanji sighs in relief. Alright, round old guy and giant old guy. We're gonna go now, Luffy calls out to the giants, getting their attention. Oh, I see. Well, you do seem to be in a hurry. Rogi comments as he looks at the humans. That's too bad, but we won't stop you. I hope your homeland is okay. Dory comments and looks at Vivi. Yes. Thank you, she replies, and they begin walking off into the jungle heading for the ship. See ya. Don't die anymore, Luffy yells at them as he waves goodbye. Master. I will visit Elbaf someday. Usopp screams at him, with Karoo shrieking at them. You'll see. Mine's way bigger than yours, Sanji says as he and Zoro walk off, and Dakota wakes up at the wrong moment. You wish, Zoro scoffs. Man, do you mind not measuring your ass while I'm here? Dakota comments, climbs out of Zoro's arms, and walks off with the girls. I'm gonna be a brave warrior of the sea, Usopp screams as he runs into the trees. One Piece. Little Garden Arc, Dakota's Pav. We make it to the ship, and I sit on the railing as Sanji and Zoro continue to argue who has the biggest catch as we load up, ready to head to Alabasta finally. See? Mine's far huger than yours, Zoro yells at the cook. Look closer. My lizard's bigger, Sanji yells back at the swordsman. Are you blind or something? My rhino's way bigger, Zoro yells back at the blonde. It doesn't really matter, Luffy comments with a grin. You shut up. They both shout at Luffy. Look, mine's bigger. No, mine is, they continue to argue, and I shake my head. I might stick to women if all men are like this. I sigh and pass Nami as I go through the door heading for our room to get change. One Piece. Little garden arc. I feel the ship begin to move as I take my shirt off. Seeing the bruising around my lower ribcage thanks to that blonde bitch, and get out the bandages to help hold my ribs in place and put on an orange wool jumper and some black ripped jeans and tan ankle boots before heading back out, still feeling the pain from the broken ribs. One Piece. Little garden arc. Coming back outside change. I walk out towards the bow with the others to see the two giants on either side of the river with their backs to us, seeming serious. Hey, look, it's the old guys. They came to see us off, Luffy points out. Ahead is a great obstacle, Brogy informs us, that prevents people who come to this island from reaching the next, Dory adds, scaring the others. You fought desperately to protect our pride. As such, no matter what manner of enemy there may be, Brogy says, we will not let them destroy your pride, friends. Have faith in us and continue straight ahead, no matter what happens. Got it? Luffy agrees readily. What's this about? What do you got? Usopp asks our captain. We'll go straight ahead, no matter what, Luffy repeats as we sail out of the river into open water, passing the giants. This is goodbye. Brogy greets us farewell. Let's meet again someday, Dory says as they move their cloaks away, revealing their battered weapons. Without fail. Look, up ahead. Nami calls out, and we all turn to see something rising out of the water, taking us with it for a second. There you are, Island Eater, Dory growls as it appears slowly. You will open the path in the name of Elbaf, Brogy growls too, and they summon as much energy as possible as they hold out their weapons with a roar as a giant goldfish appears before us. Karoo shrieks in fear as everyone else starts panicking. Something's appeared. Usopp cries out. What's this guy? A goldfish? Luffy questions, stunned. A giant goldfish. Why does that sound familiar? Usopp stutters in fear even though he told a story about himself and a goldfish, if I remember vaguely, or maybe someone else said to me about it. Work the rudder. Hurry, we're gonna get eaten. Hurry, Usopp, Nami orders him. I can't, go straight ahead, alright, Luffy? Usopp asks our captain. Yeah, of course. Luffy agrees as we sail closer to the open mouth of the goldfish about to be eaten. Don't be stupid, this won't be like what happened with Laboon, Nami exclaims in fright. I know. Calm down. Here, I'll let you have the last rice cracker, he says as he sits on the figurehead and passes the cracker to our navigator, who catches it. I don't want it, if we don't turn the ship, we're gonna be. Nami tries to reason with him. I open the door for Karoo, who runs inside to cower. Just give it up, Nami, Zoro tells her, and she bites onto the cracker with tears as we come to the mouth of the greedy fish. Luffy, we can trust those guys, I hope, Sanji shouts at him. Yep, he answers quickly, always so trusting. Are you crazy? Are we really going straight into that beast? Vivi asks as we enter the mouth as it grows dark. Too late now, anyway, I remark as I sit on the floor by the door and Zoro as the beast closes its mouth as we move into its stomach. Straight ahead, Usopp cries out above. What are you talking about? We've already been eaten. Nami screams at him, and I plug my ears at their loudness. Straight ahead. Luffy joins in with Usopp when a great force pierces through the flesh of the goldfish behind us and sails over our heads, drilling a hole in front of us, allowing us to fly free. Hikoku sovereignty, the giants shout together, and it's the last thing we hear as we sail away from the island. Dakota's Pav. What are you talking about? We've already been eaten. Nami screams at him, and I plug my ears at their loudness. Straight ahead. Luffy joins in with Usopp when a great force pierces through the flesh of the goldfish behind us and sails over our heads, drilling a hole in front of us, allowing us to fly free. Hikoku sovereignty, the giants shout together, and it's the last thing we hear as we sail away from the island. We're flying out of it. Luffy cheers as we sail in the air. I grin as we fall back towards the water. Don't look back, we're going straight ahead. He beams, and I get to my feet slowly, carefully holding my side. Huge, it's so huge. They cut, the very sea itself. This is the strength of Elbaf warriors. Incredible, Usopp cries with tears streaming down his face as we crash land into the water. Friends, now go. I hear the giants shout after us as we sail further away, catching the wind and heading to Alabasta. Guys, someday, I will go to Elbaf, To the village of warriors. Usopp yells suddenly, proclaiming, right now, he wouldn't last 3 seconds there. Yeah, okay. Luffy cheers, and I shake my head at the two as they begin cheering with each other on the deck. G.I. Giants, G.I. Giants, Elbaf Bath, everyone's huge. 'Cause, they're giants. They're huge. They're huge. They're huge. They continue cheering on the ship's side with Karoo running back and forth behind them, and I walk past them, pushing them over the side. They cling to the side. Hey, sis, killer. Why'd you do that for? They yell after me, but I ignore them as I head up the stairs passing Sanji with a tray full of treats, and I follow behind him, feeling hungry. Felt like it, I tell them over my shoulder. There's no need to push yourself so hard, Vivi-chan. You have me, Sanji assures her and leans down with the tray of treats towards her and Nami. Today's relaxing sweets. How about SME petite fours? For drinks, you have your choice of coffee or tea. Sanji, Vivi mutters as she looks at our cook, and the boys and Karoo look at the treats with drool. Yours is in the kitchen, Sanji snaps at them, and they race up the stairs heading for the kitchen door like morons. I take a sweet and place it into my mouth, eating it whole, feeling my stomach rumble a little. One Piece. Drum Island Arc Zoro's POV. I continue my exercises after fixing up my ankles as Dakota said she won't heal me from now on after trying to cut my feet off to fight. I push the thought away of how I couldn't protect anyone because I was weak. I couldn't protect Dakota from being injured because I was helpless. I need to grow stronger to protect everyone on this ship from anything. One Piece. Drum Island Arc 3rd POV. A bell rings in the sandy kingdom of Alabasta as the men ready a ship with a swan figurehead waiting for their leader and guest. Mr. 2. Bon Clay. The Swanda is ready to set sail. One of the men shouts as Mr. 2 steps over in front of his crew with a woman beside him. Okay, you're so loud, sheesh, Mr. 2 complains as he stands in his ballerina shoes and pink coat with feathers around the neck and wrists. Honestly. Now, why'd I have to do this? Mr. 3 is nothing but bulky garbage, you guys go toss him out. We can't, we wouldn't stand a chance even if we ganged up on him, please. It is the boss's orders, they panic. Toi, what's for called? He sighs through his pained lips. Mr. 9 is also high maintenance. Mr. 3, get on the ship now. Miss Hallows Eve orders him from behind and pushes past him, bumping shoulders. He huffs angrily at her as she glides through the men towards the ship in her purple dress and raven hair swishing behind her. Why you, witch? He grumbles as he stomps to the ship behind her. One Piece. Drum Island Arc Dakota's POV. I finish the last of the sweets as I sit next to Nami. Leaning against the mast as Vivi keeps an eye on the eternal pose. It seems Nami is a little drowsy. Vivi, sorry. I think I'm gonna go lie down, Nami struggles to say, and I look at her flushed face as she holds a hand to her forehead, and I grow worried for the girl. No problem, Nami, I'll keep an eye on our course. You should get some rest. Vivi assures her, and Nami tries getting up but falls. I catch her, irritating my ribs as I groan, holding onto her around the waist as she struggles to steady her breathing with a flushed look on her face. Vivi comes over and places her hand on her forehead in worry. Are you all right? She asks us, but Nami seems to have fainted and I nod. Everyone, come here. This is bad. She yells, gaining everyone's attention as Usopp and Luffy come out the door with Sanji and Karoo. Huh? What is it, Vivi? Luffy asks from the kitchen. Nami has a terrible fever, Vivi announces. Eh? Nami does? Sanji screams, and they run down to look at Nami as she struggles to breathe. Sanji, take Nami into our room. Usopp, get some cold water along with a towel. We'll need to keep her cool and comfortable, I order them. Sanji takes Nami in his arms and races into our room with Vivi behind him, along with Karoo. Luffy helps me up to my feet as Usopp rushes to grab the things I asked for, and I walk inside. One Piece. Drum Island Arc. Sanji places Nami on the bed, and Vivi puts the blanket over her, and I take it off, not wanting her to overheat. She needs to stay cool, Usopp. Place the towel in the cold water, and pass it here and then get a jug of water for her, I order him, and he does as instructed, and I place the cold towel over her forehead as Vivi takes her temperature. Nami gonna die? Is she, Vivi? Dakota? Sanji asks as he sobs, and I check her cheeks, feeling the heat. It's most likely the climate. One of the obstacles all sailors who enter the Grand Line run into is an illness caused by abnormal weather. There are countless stories of tough, notorious pirates sudden. Why dying from this? Carelessness makes even the slightest case deadly. Vivi explains that although I've heard the stories, it doesn't fit the symptoms. Nami-san. Sanji breaks down in sobs. Is there anyone on this ship with any medical knowledge at all? She asks, and they point at Nami and me. But eating meat makes sickness go away, right, Sanji? Luffy asks our crying cook as I pull Nami's hair into a small ponytail to keep it off her face. I can make some basic food meant for sick people, but that's entirely in nursing territory. There's no guarantee it'd make her better. Besides, I normally put 100 times more care into Nami-san, Dakota-chan and Vivi-chan's meals than I do with yours. I serve them fresh meat and vegetables, for balanced nutrition. And I give all the rotting stuff to you guys. Sanji explains, and I shake my head at him. Hey, now, Usopp exclaims as he smacks at the cook. It's still good, though, Luffy laughs. You've eaten a rock when we told you it was real food, I mutter, remembering when Ace told him to, and I let him. In any case, as long as I'm this ship's cook, there'll be no problems whatsoever in terms of getting a balanced diet. But there are different kinds of meals for sick people. What are her symptoms? What does she need? I can't make that call, Sanji explains. Then she can just eat it all, Luffy tells him. She's sick because she doesn't have the energy for that. Sanji snaps at him, and Vivi checks the thermometer. 104. Her fever's gone up again. Vivi exclaims, and I look over to see it, too, and gape at the number. There'll be doctors when we get to Alabasta, right? How much longer will it take, Vivi? Usopp asks her. It'll take at least a week to get there, and she won't make it if her fever gets worse, I tell them, and they grow worried. Nami's gonna die? Don't die, Nami-san, Luffy and Sanji cry out, and Usopp runs around with Karoo, screaming. Stop that. Be quiet. Vivi snaps at them. Let's find a doctor to help Nami, Luffy screams. Okay, calm down. Vivi tries to settle them down, but it doesn't really work. You're going to make her illo. I hear Nami whisper, and I turn to look at her as everyone stops. No, she sits up. Nami? I question as I look at her flushed face, still seeing her struggling for breath. Oh, she's all better. Luffy cheers, and Usopp smacks him on the back of the head. Get real, he yells at the rubber moron. In my desk drawer, there's a newspaper, Nami tells her slowly, having to stop to catch her breath. Oi, just because you're sick doesn't mean you tell her about that. I hiss at the navigator as Vivi gets out of the newspaper, finding the page we were hoping she'd never know about. No, that can't be. Vivi gasps as she reads. Hey, what is it? Luffy asks her. Is it about Alabasta, Vivi? Sanji asks her. 300,000 royal soldiers defected to the resistance. She summarizes what it says in horror. It was originally a Cold War, with 600,000 royal soldiers and 400,000 resistance soldiers, but now that's suddenly changed. The uprising in Alabasta is finally going to get serious now. That paper's from 3 days ago. I'm sorry. We can't change our speed, so I didn't want to worry you by showing you that. Dakota and I agreed on it, Nami says, dropping me in it with her. Understand, Luffy? Things seem very bad, he answers, seeming to get it. Phew, that got through to you more than I expected, she comments. But you need to see a doctor. Usopp argues. I'm fine, that thermometer must be broken. Nobody gets a temperature of 104, it's probably just sunstroke or something, she argues and gets up out of bed. We don't need a doctor. I'll get better on my own, for now. Let's head straight for Alabasta as planned. She walks past us and looks over her shoulder. Thanks for worrying about me. She walks up the stairs and heads back outside with Zoro, no doubt. Oh, she's better now? Luffy questions, and I shake my head at his naive attitude. You idiot, she's just acting tough, Usopp tells him. At this rate, so much blood will be shed throughout the kingdom. It'll be an all-out war. If I don't stop that, the Alabasta kingdom will be done for. Crocodile will take over. I can't just return safely. I need to return as quickly as possible. If I don't make it in time, 1 million citizens will kill themselves pointlessly. Vivi cries. I understand she's feeling the strain with all that on her shoulders, but she needs to lessen the burden a little more. There's a million people? Luffy exclaims in awe. What an immense burden you're carrying, Vivi, Sanji whispers, and I place my hand on her head as she cries into the newspaper. We did promise to get you to Alabasta, and we will. I tell her, trying to assure her, but it's not really in my wheelhouse. Hey, get out here, you guys, got work to do. I hear Zoro yell at us from outside, and I walk out with the boys. What? Usopp asks as we look up at the swordsman. Huh? Hard to feel motivated when you're giving the orders, Sanji comments. Just shut up and move. Zoro snaps at the cook. Take the seat and catch the port side wind. What's going on, Nami? He asks the sick navigator. The waves are quiet and the weather's nice. Wind, she answers him, and I walk over up the stairs. Wind? He questions. An immense wind is coming directly this way, I think, she says, and Luffy rushes past me to stand behind her and presses his hand to her forehead. What? Hot. You're hot. Yesh. You stay inside the ship. Let's go get to a doctor. Luffy exclaims as he cradles his hand. Mind your own business. This is my normal temperature. Now quit being stupid and pull the ropes, she yells at him. Nami. I know you're saying that for Vivi, but if you push too hard, Sanji tries reasoning with the stubborn woman. I told you I'm fine. She snaps and stumbles, needing to support herself on the railing, and I stand by her, ensuring she doesn't collapse again. Hey, Nami. I think you really should, Usopp tries to say, but Nami bites his head off. Just hurry and move the ship. Nami yells at the boys, and they rush to their posts, but I stay with Nami. Sheesh, what could it be? It seems a little different than a storm, she mutters to herself, and the ship moves to the left right on target for Alabasta and a little closer to a doctor unknowingly by our dear navigator. The door next to us opens, and Vivi steps out, looking like she's made her mind up. I have a favor to ask, everyone. I know it's not my place to ask this as a passenger on your ship, but my homeland is in a terrible state now, so I'd like to hurry ahead. We can't waste even a single minute. So I want this ship to head for Alabasta at its fastest speed, she requests, and I look at her with narrow eyes along with the boys, but I know she's got good intentions. Of course, that's what we promised, Nami assures her, and there's a tense moment till Vivi sighs and smiles. So let's find an island with a doctor on it right away. Let's cure Nami as quickly as possible and then go to Alabasta. That's this ship's fastest speed, right? She announces and looks at our captain, who smiles back at her. Yeah, we can't go any faster than that. He agrees, and I smile, glad she's thinking of everyone. Are you sure? As their princess, you should be worried about those million citizens, Usopp asks her. That's right, so we need to hurry and cure Nami's illness, she points out. Well said, Vivi, I've fallen for you all over again, Sanji says. You got guts, Zoro adds. Thanks, Nami whispers as I take her over to Vivi. Don't you overexert yourself, Nami, Vivi scolds her. Sorry, Vivi, I think I am kind of in trouble, Nami says and collapses into Vivi. I help her take the dead weight. Nami, hang in there, Vivi says, and I see her shirt right up a little to see a bite on her stomach, which is a strange color. What is that? Luffy screams, and I see a massive tunnel of wind and water in front of us, spinning dangerously. It's a cyclone, I cry out, having only encountered a few in my travels on the Grand Line. It's huge, Luffy cries out. Wait, that's the direction, Vivi cries out. That's the direction our ship was just headed in, Sanji yells over the strong wind. It would have been a direct hit had we kept going straight, Usopp shouts in horror, and there's a rumble of thunder. I flinch a little as I hold onto Nami with Vivi and bolts of lightning strike, and one hits the water. Yikes, we just barely made it through, Luffy yells over the thunder. I've never seen such a navigator before, Vivi marvels at the teen in our arms. Alright, let's hurry, then, let's go find us a doctor, Luffy yells, and we all raise our arms in the air with a cheer of agreement. Move in the same direction, there's an island I know that has 2 doctors on there, I tell them, and we head past the cyclone heading for the island. One Piece. Drum Island arc. It's been a day, and Nami stays in bed resting, but her fever is getting worse. I stay with her along with Vivi, and Sanji comes in with some broth to help her keep her strength till we make it to Drum Kingdom. What do we do? Vivi, Dakota. Nami's fever won't go down. Sanji cries out as he runs around with Karoo, making a noise when Nami rests. Sanji, Karoo, I asked you to stop freaking out. Vivi snaps at them, and they stop as I put the fresh compress on her forehead. But her fever is getting dangerous, and my own wounds are getting worse. We need to reach Drum Kingdom soon. Akuma no human demon form. Ice demon hands, I mutter, and my hands turn blue even more than before as I place one over Nami's forehead and the other over her stomach to help cool her down. The ship suddenly rocks. Sanji grabs the bed holding it above to keep it steady as the ship rocks violently. Why are we shaking? Vivi demands as I hold onto the wall to steady myself. Hold the rudder. If anything happens to Nami, I'll gut you all. Sanji curses at the boys above, and the ship steadies itself slowly. So Sanji puts Nami's bed back down, and I check on the strawberry blonde when Emilia laughing, but I can't place where. Vivi, Dakota. You're in charge here. Sanji yells and races up the stairs to the others outside. Okay. Right? We shout back, and everything goes quiet up on deck, but Vivi tries feeding Nami the broth again, and I keep her cool so her fever won't rise even higher. It seems to be getting noisy again as gunfire starts above, and I grumble under my breath as it continues, hoping it doesn't wake Nami up. Gunfire. Dakota. Watch Nami. I'll be right back. Vivi yells and puts on her shoes quickly before running up the stairs, leaving me with the oversized duck and a sick Nami. Hey, I can fight. I snap but stop as Nami stirs, and soon everything goes quiet up on deck. And Vivi comes back telling me about the boys fighting some soldiers and a guy called Wapple. I thought he sounded familiar, I mutter, getting a strange look from the princess and waving it off. One Piece. Drum Island arc. I leave Vivi in charge as I go to eat and return to see Luffy, one of the picture frames with my painting on his forehead. I take it out and shake my head. I'll steer the ship. I know the way to Drum Kingdom. I tell them, and they both look at me in shock. What? I ask them. That Wapple moron said he was looking for that island, Sanji exclaims, and I nod, knowing who he is. So, I question. He's a bad guy, really bad. I ended up in Drum a long time ago. I needed fixing up, and there's only 2 doctors who I trust to look after Nami. I tell them, and they nod. Come on, it's almost nightfall. Sanji, don't forget you're on watch tonight. I tell him and put my hat on, covering my red hair, making it barely visible as I walk back up the stairs. One Piece. Drum Island arc. Night came and went, and we're almost there, another hour at best. We'll be able to get Nami treated. I stay down in the mine in Nami's room as Luffy looks after her as I nap, though I can hear him mumbling something to her. Then Zoro's SXY voice, and I lulled to sleep listening, catching up after last night. I jolt awake when I hear Sanji shout. We found an island. I look over to see Luffy sitting in the chair chanting, "Island," to Nami, trying to wake her up, but she's too exhausted, and I close my eyes again as Luffy runs up the stairs to look, and I go back to sleep. I feel us come to a stop, and I open my eyes slowly, trying to wake up. Zoro sits in the chair now, looking after Nami, and I get out of my bed, put on my boots over my fluffy socks and go up the stairs heading up on deck. Zoro, are you coming? I ask him, and he nods, following me up the stairs. One Piece. Drum Island arc. I walk out to see we are by the waterfall of melted snow, memories, bleeding to death, where a certain blue-nosed reindeer found me and brought me back to health. I walk to the ship's bow to examine the landscape with Vivi and Zoro. It's a waterfall of melted snow. We may be able to stop around here, Vivi suggests, and Zoro looks over his shoulder to the others. So, who's going doctor hunting? He asks them, considering Nami and I need a doctor the most. No, I guess people hunting comes first. I'm going. Luffy volunteers first, me too. Sanji volunteers second. Okay, have fun. Usopp exclaims, glad he doesn't have to go, no doubt, big chicken. That's far enough, pirates. I hear another familiar voice and see dozens of men on either side of the ship, all pointing weapons down at us. Hey, I found people, Luffy says. But they don't seem too friendly, Usopp mumbles, and he's not wrong. Attention, pirates, leave this place at once. This instant, the familiar voice demands, and I look over to see a man in green, and I know exactly who he is. We came to find a doctor. Luffy argues. We have someone who's sick and another that's injured, Vivi tells them. We won't fall for that trick, you filthy pirates. This is our island, we won't let any pirates land here. Raise anchor and leave now. Or else we'll blow your whole ship up. The men shout down to us. They really hate our guts. And we've just met, too. Sanji mutters, and I take my hat off, feeling itch a little, and I hear a gasp. I look up at Dalton as one of the men shoots at Sanji's feet. Enough, Dalton yells, and the men back down. Sanji, don't, I order him as I see him about to attack, and I walk up to the figurehead, looking at Dalton. Been a while. Dalton. I hear the others gasp in shock. Even the men look in shock, but some seem to recognize me. It's good to see you again, Dakota. He greets me back, and I smile. We're in need of a doctor, I tell him. I see, it must be bad if you've come looking for her. Very well, I will show you to the village. Follow me, he tells us, and I nod in thanks as he turns, and I jump down onto the deck, seeing the others all looking in shock. What? I met him a couple of times when I would visit for serious need of medical treatment, and there's only a few I trust to stitch me up, okay. I tell them, and that seems to settle them, and we begin our journey to find Dr. Kureha. One Piece. Drum Island arc. I put my hat back on as we walk along the snow-covered ground, leaving Zoro behind on the ship with Kuru. I walk with Vivi as we watch Nami. I must warn you, the only doctor we have here is a witch, Dalton tells them, and I sigh as they look at me with a glare at the misleading information. Witch? Usopp panics a little. You gotta be kidding me. Nothing here makes sense, Sanji grumbles, and I smile. She's not technically a witch, she's just eccentric, and well, she's not a big people person. I tell them and smile when Usopp lets out a scream of fear as a hiking bear comes walking towards us. A bear? Usopp screams. Everyone, pretend to be dead. A hiking bear. They pose no danger. Dalton assures the others. Don't forget to bow. It's proper hiking manners. We all bow to the bear as it bows back and continues up the hill towards the village of Big Horn. One Piece. Drum Island arc. We finally make it to the busy village, with everyone going about the usual day like nothing is wrong. It almost reminds me of Fuchsia Village. This is our village, Big Horn, Dalton announces to the others. There are weird animals walking everywhere, Luffy whispers, and I smile, pointing at the white walkie. That one is called a white walkie, pretty fast animals, I tell him, and he grins at the animal with glee. That's snow country for ya. Usopp almost sounds like he's complaining, but I think the hiking bear scared him too much. Nami. We made it to a village with people. It's a village, Sanji announces to our sick navigator, but she's still sleeping, fighting off the fever. Okay. Thanks for the help everyone. Those who aren't guards can return to their work, Dalton tells the other men. But will you be alright by yourself, Dalton? They're pirates. One of the men tries to stop Dalton. I know Dakota very well, she poses no threat to me or any of us, and I believe they pose no threat either, Dalton assures them, vouching for us. That's my hunch of many years of experience. You can trust it. The men all talk among themselves but seem to trust Dalton fully and begin leaving back to their usual activities. They weren't this land's security forces? Vivi asks him, confused. They're ordinary citizens. Come to my home for now. Dalton instructs us as he walks off, and we follow behind. Hey, look, Luffy, a hiking bear, Usopp exclaims, and I follow to see a woman walking towards us. Again, Luffy questions as she walks over. Oh, Dalton, she calls out to him. Got a bow? The morons say as they bow to her. I heard there were pirates. Are you okay? She asks him and passes the morons. Yes, everything is okay. There's nothing to worry about, he assures her, and she walks off, seeming pleased. Oh, Dalton, I look forward to the election in 2 days. Everyone says they're going to vote for you. An elderly man yells over to him, making the serious man fluster. Why you can't be serious? I'm nothing but a sinful man. He argues, and I elbow him in the save all sinned, I tell him, and he shakes his head, not wanting the attention, and we walk over to his place. One Piece. Drum Island arc. I've never been to Dalton's home before. It's cozy as we enter, though Usopp and Luffy decide to stay outside. Use that bed there. I'll warm the place up, he tells us. Sanji carefully places Nami on the bed, and Vivi pulls up the covers to keep her warm. I haven't probably introduced myself. I'm Dalton, captain of the security squad of this island. Please forgive our heavy-handed welcome. May I ask you a question? He asks as he puts his spade on the floor, leaning against the wall. May I ask you a question? He directs at Vivi, who looks over at him. I somehow feel like I've seen you before. It's probably just your imagination. Vivi deflects badly. Anyway, please tell us about this witch. Nami's temperature was 107 when I checked it just now. 107? He repeats in shock. Her fever's gone up for 3 days in a row. I tell him as I look at her worriedly. She'll die if it goes up any more, he points out. Yes. But we don't even know the cause of her illness, or how to treat it. Vivi explains our dilemma. We need a doctor. Anyone will do. Where is this witch of yours? Sanji demands, raising his voice at Dalton, wanting to help Nami in any way. The witch, huh? Do you see those mountains outside of the window? Dalton questions the blonde male. Yeah, those insanely tall. He replies and stops. I look over to see 2 snowmen outside, courtesy of Usopp and Luffy, as they goof around outside in the snow. Don't make me kick your asses. They quickly came inside, scared of the angry cook. Those mountains are known as the Drum Rockies. Do you see the castle at the top of the tallest one in the middle? Dalton asks, and they look out to the mountains where you can faintly see the castle on top. Castle? Usopp echoes as he drinks his tea. That castle no longer has its king, he informs them. That warms me up. Luffy mumbles as he enjoys the tea. Yeah, there it is. Sanji nods as he and Vivi look out the window now that he's destroyed the snowmen blocking the view. What's so important about the castle? Vivi asks him. The only doctor in the land, Dr. Kureha, lives there. People here call a witch. I inform them, to their shock. What? Of all the places, why does it have to be so far away? Then call her here right away. We have a critical patient, Sanji snaps. Even if we wanted to, there's no way to contact her, Dalton informs them. Huh? And she calls herself a doctor? What the hell is she like? Sanji snaps again. As a doctor, she's very skilled, but she's an eccentric old hang. She's nearly 140 years old now, and I don't remember living up in the castle. I tell them and look at Dalton. 140? I think she might need help, Sanji comments. And, let's see, she likes pickled plums, and she moved there after those pirates attacked us once the king abandoned us, Dalton adds. What happens when people here get sick or injured? Vivi asks us. She comes down from the mountain when she feels like it. She looks for patients, treats them, then, as payment, she takes whatever she wants from their houses before leaving. He says, sounds like her. Sounds like an unfriendly old hag, Usopp comments. Hey, she almost sounds like a pirate, Luffy remarks happily. But how does such an old woman go down that mountain? Vivi asks a good question. It's an odd rumor, but several people claim to have seen her riding a sleigh through the sky on moonlit nights. And that's the reason she's called a witch. Some also saw her with a strange creature they'd never seen before. Dalton tells them the rumors and gossip, which freaks Usopp, the cowardly sniper. I knew it. See, it's a snowman. It's a snowy mountain. After all, I knew there'd be one. A witch and a snowman? Oh, please never let us run into them. Usopp yells in fear as he rolls around in a panic. She is the only doctor, but she's a hag I'd prefer to stay away from. All we can do is wait for the next time she comes down the mountain. He tells us, ignoring Usopp. You can't be serious, Vivi groans. It's not a good idea. We've got a better chance of catching her at the castle. Damn it. We can't wait for that. Even as we speak, Nami is... Sanji stops himself, not wanting to go there again. Hey, Nami. Nami, can you hear me? Luffy slaps Nami, trying to wake her up. What are you doing? We yell at our captain as he slaps her gently, and she wakes up a little. Oh, she's awake. Hey, the only way to see a doctor is to climb a mountain. We're gonna climb it, Luffy informs the sick girl. Don't be crazy. What are you doing with Nami? Sanji demands in worry. It's okay, I'll carry her on my back, he answers simply. That'll only make things even worse, I point out. What's the problem? We need to hurry, don't we? Luffy questions me. That's true, but you can't. Look at how steep and tall it is. I can't teleport myself or Nami up there without possibly killing both of us or making us worse. We'd have to go up there the long way, I point out, and the others seem to ponder as they let it sink in. I can make it, Luffy mutters, sure of himself. Maybe you can make it, but it'd be too hard on Nami, Sanji reasons, trying to deter Luffy's idea. But look, if we fall, we'll land in snow, Luffy argues, sticking to the idea. Even a healthy person would die instantly after a fall from there, Vivi argues her point. Seriously, she's over normal temperature, she could die. Do you even get it? Usopp snaps at him. And Nami's breathing worsens as we look at her as she struggles to breathe. I need to get over this fast, I need to hurry, for Vivi, she says and has to stop to catch her breath and moves her hand out from the covers to give Luffy a high five. I'm counting on you, Captain. He grins, and they high five lightly. That's more like it, just leave it to me, he grins, and we begin getting ready for our trip to the castle on a mountain at least 3 miles high. I hope you know what you're doing, I warn him as Sanji starts packing a bag for all of us, as Usopp and Vivi will stay behind. Yeah, you and Nami need to see her quickly, he replies, and I see the stubborn look on his face. There's no talking him out of it now. Okay, I nod as we wrap Nami up in something warm so she doesn't catch frostbite and wrap her carefully on Luffy's back, ready to head out with Usopp complaining the whole time. I can't believe it, like Captain, like Navigator, Usopp continues to complain as we step outside. Do you know what condition you're in, Nami? Sanji asks the sick girl who can barely stay awake. Are you sure you'll be okay? It'll take hours to get there, Vivi points out, but it won't do much to sway him. Old guy, meat. Gimme meat. Luffy asks rudely. Oi, manners, I snap at him, slapping his arm and moving too harshly, irritating my ribs, making me take a deep breath of pain. You okay, Dakota? Vivi asks, and I nod, steadying my breathing. Yeah, once she's seen to Nami, I'll be right as rain, I tell her as we walk out, ready to head out. One Piece. Drum Island arc, alright. I'm coming too, as you're taking Nami, Dakota. You can walk, for now, right? Sanji asks me, and I nod, taking the bag for when I can't walk anymore. Listen, Luffy, don't fall even once or you can expect Nami to die, Usopp warns the teen. Eh, even once? Luffy complains slightly, but I know he'll be careful with the girl. Wait. Hold still. I need to tie this right, Vivi tells him and pulls the ends of the fabric, securing Nami to Luffy's back tie enough, so she won't slip. All set. Okay, I'm going to wait here. I'd only get in the way. Same here. Usopp agrees, not wanting to run into anything dangerous as usual. Got it, okay. Nami, hold on tight, Luffy says to her, and she mumbles under her breath in agreement. If you're really set on going, I won't stop you. But at least climb up from the other side. There are Lapons on this course. Fibbits. If you encounter a pack of them, you're as good as dead. Dalton warns us, but I've never run into any in my time here, but I would usually teleport from one place to the other. Rabbits, but we're in a hurry. We should be fine, right? Luffy asks as he looks at our cook. Yeah, I'll kick him, Sanji agrees. Kick? You can't be serious, you'd be walking to your deaths? Dalton says in worry for us. It's okay. Luffy shrugs it off and starts running off. Alright, then, let's go, Dakota, Sanji. Before Nami dies, we run off behind him, catching up. What? Don't say things that could jinx us, you dumbass, Sanji snaps at him as we run out of the village, heading for the Drum Rockies. One Piece. Drum Island arc. We've made it a reasonable distance from the village of Big Horn, but it seems a strong wind is pulling more snow over us as we run, and I can't steady my breathing due to the cold weather. It's gotten a little colder. The wind's picking up. Luffy comments as he runs ahead, as I feel myself slowing down a little. So why aren't you wearing shoes? Just seeing that is painful, Sanji remarks as he looks down at Luffy's sandals. This is my police, Luffy argues. Police? You mean, policy? He points out, and Luffy nods in agreement. Anyway, did you know, people in snowy countries never sleep? Luffy starts up a conversation with something he hears from a drunk. Huh? Why's that? Sanji asks him. 'Cause they'll die if they go to sleep. He tells him, and I shake my head at them and stop to catch my breath as the icy air feels like stabs in my lungs, Dakota, come on, he yells, and I look up at him as I try steadying my breath, but it's getting more complex. Come on, I'll carry you from here now, Sanji says, and he turns around, letting me climb on as we start running again, continuing from where they left off. Usopp, I bet. The boys duck as a giant rabbit leaps out of the trees over us. No, I heard it in a pub in my village, Luffy argues. Then why did that Dalton guy have a bed? Sanji points out as the same Lapon jumps out, but Sanji steps back in time to dodge it. That's a good point. Maybe it's for when he dies, then. Luffy counters as a tree starts falling towards us. Yeah, right. Sanji snaps as the tree falls in front of us, and the boys jump over it, heading up the mountain. Okay. Did you know this? Women in snowy lands all have silky smooth skin. How come? Luffy asks the cook. Isn't it obvious? Whenever you're cold, you rub your skin for warmth. So you get smooth skin. Sanji explains his theory as more Lapons try attacking us, but he dodges them. So women in snowy places have such silky smooth white skin. How come it's white? I ask him and regret it now. Because the color of the constantly falling snow dyes their skin, Sanji replies as we keep having to dodge the Lapons. Huh? You're so dumb, Luffy teases the cook. Like you're really anyone to talk. And Sanji retorts, and a small Lapon comes for him, and he kicks it away hard. Quit being so damn annoying. What was with that guy? Luffy mutters as we keep going, and the wind becomes stronger and the snow heavier. Hand in there, Nami, Dakota, we're gonna get you to a doctor, Sanji promises as we run. The snow's really deep around here, Luffy comments as he tries keeping his footing. Hey, Luffy. Run more smoothly. You're gonna make Nami worse, Sanji scolds him, and we stop as a pack of Lapons stands before us, not looking happy about Sanji kicking their kid. What are these? They're white and big, so they're polar bears, I'm sure of it, Luffy replies as the one in front of us jumps into the air high above us. It jumped, Sanji yells and lands with its arms in front of it, punching into the snow as we jump back away. You gotta be kidding me. How can it move like that? What is it, a gorilla? No, a polar bear, Luffy argues as if that's the problem right now. It's a rabbit, Sanji snaps at him. You're the one who just called it a gorilla, he points out. These are the Lapons that Dalton was talking about. I tell them over the strong wind and climb off Sanji, knowing we'll have to fight to keep Nami safe and defend her and Luffy. His many of them? Sanji gapes at the large pack of massive rabbits, ready to fight us. Nami? We all question as we look at the strawberry blonde on Luffy's back as she mutters to herself. We have to hurry to Alabasta, she mutters, clearly feeling the stress from the fever. Never mind that, just rest. Don't worry about anything right now. Don't worry about anything right now, Luffy tells her, and we smile fondly at her. When her own life is at risk, I shake my head at her. Nami, hang in there just a little longer. We have to go to that castle where the doctor lives. Get out of our way, you damn bunnies. Sanji snaps at them, and they seem to understand us. They're coming, Luffy says in a low voice. Yeah, listen, Luffy, don't you dare fight, Sanji orders him. Why not? Luffy asks him. Idiot, whether you attack or get struck, Nami will feel the whole impact too. She'll die, he tells him, and Luffy straightens her out as she slowly falls. What? He gapes as the Lapons shout out. Oh, okay, I won't fight. He agrees when the pack leader jumps towards him, and he ducks in time to avoid the attack. But what do I do? The Lapons start to attack, and Sanji and I fight them as they keep coming at us. Just dodge, 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 dodge and run. But don't retreat, I tell him as he does as he's told. That's hard, he complains, and a bigger Lapon comes for Sanji. Flank it, shoot. He spins low and kicks the rabbit in the stomach, sending it flying towards the rest of the pack. I jump out of a hit as Luffy jumps past me. Damn it, in this snow, I can't kick properly. The Lapons seem angry at us even more, and all of their left ears go down, and they jump up to attack us. They're all attacking at once, Luffy yells as he dodges out of the way. Go into the forest, I'll cover your back, Sanji yells as we run into the trees with Sanji behind us. Luffy loses his hat, but Sanji picks it up as we run, and they land where we are standing. Go left, we'll head to the mountain. Okay, we yell back as we change directions towards the mountain's base. We'll shake them off somehow. It'd take us until night to finish fighting them, he points out as we run, though the Lapons catch up to us. These snow mountain animals really are tough. We're at a disadvantage. A Lapon comes from Luffy's side, and he's about to kick him, but Sanji stops him, doing it himself. Don't, he yells as he kicks the Lapon down. Idiot, we told you not to attack. Just leave them to us. Sorry, Luffy apologies, but it's hard for someone who always relies on his instincts. This isn't a joke. I warn him as Sanji puts his hat back on his head, and we reach a small cliff high enough to escape. Sanji, we can go up from here, Luffy shouts over to Sanji as he stays back to keep the giant rabbits away. Good, go on ahead, Sanji shouts back, and I run towards the rock and jump up, catching my foot on a jagged rock, heaving myself up as Luffy uses the Lapons that tried to attack him to jump up with Sanji. I look down to see the pack all looking up at us, and it seems we got away from them, but then Luffy, being the idiot he is, sticks his tongue out at them, and they jump up to follow us. They're coming, Luffy yells as we panic. You don't need to egg them on, anyway. Run to the top of the mountain, Sanji yells as we run with the Lapons running after us. Are they coming? Luffy asks as we stop a little as we've been running for a while. No, they aren't, Sanji tells us. All right, looks like we lost them. I smile, glad to stop as I struggle to breathe. No, not yet. He points ahead at the pack of Lapons up the hill in front, blocking us from going further. They're persistent. Luffy grumbles, and they start jumping up and down on the spot repeatedly. What are they doing? They keep going. G's back as the cold weather makes me feel more tired than before. Are they irritated because they're hungry? No, hold on a sec. Don't tell me, they're, Sanji mumbles and drops his cigarette on the ground in shock, and it clicks. They're trying to cause an avalanche to get rid of us. Those damn bunnies have really done it. This can't be happening. Hey, Sanji. What's the matter? What the heck is going on? Luffy asks the cook, completely clueless. Hey, we're gonna run, Luffy, Dakota, Sanji tells us. What? Run? Where to? He asks. Doesn't matter where, somewhere far and high, I tell him. An avalanche is coming. Snow comes barreling towards us. The Lapons jump out of the way as the snow comes rushing towards the boys, and we run as the snow catches up. Ah! Those damn bunnies, they'll never get away with this. Damn it, Sanji vows revenge as he runs. WH what are we gonna do? WH what are we gonna do? Sanji, Luffy asks as he tries to keep up with us and keep Nami safe. How should I know? The first priority is the girls. The second is the girls. The third is the girls. The fourth is the girls. And the fifth is the girls. Got that? Protect Nami even if it kills you. I'll do the same with Dakota. Sanji yells over the thunderous sound of the snow. Got it. Luffy yells back. But how? Over there. That cliff, Sanji tells and starts running to the small cliff with Luffy behind us. Why? Luffy asks as he runs with us. Run. We need to get as high up as we can, he shouts as the snow gets closer. It's coming, I yell in worry, and the boys jump up on the small cliff away from the oncoming avalanche. Good, we made. Ah, Sanji gapes as another cloud of snow comes barreling towards us. Oh, no, we're not high enough. The snow storms into us, and we go flying in the air and land in the snow while Luffy hovers longer above us as we go further down the mountain. Sanji, grab my hand. Luffy shouts out as I tighten my grip on Sanji. Luffy stretches out his hand to him, pulling us towards him as we sit on a fallen tree, sliding down the mountain. Thanks for that, Luffy, we say, and I cringe in pain. Yeah, but even though we won't sink in the snow, we'll go straight down the mountain if we don't do anything, Luffy points out. What? Hell no. We've come all this way, and we're almost at the foot of the mountain. Luffy, come up with a way to stop this. Damn it. Those damn hopping bunnies. Next time I see them, I'll simmer them in a pot. Sanji vents as one comes sailing down next to us on a tree trunk. What? I gasp as more come after us, and we duck out of their oncoming attacks. What are we gonna do, Sanji? Luffy yells as they keep attacking us. There's only one way, run. He yells as we try to maneuver and outrun them, but they keep trying to attack us. What the heck's with them? One tries to bite me as I move my arm out of the way. Oh, no, Luffy. Look ahead. Ahead. I look over Sanji's shoulder to see a patch of land with 3 stumps with jagged pieces. Ah, a rock. We're gonna crash. Luffy screams. You can't crash. You're carrying Nami, Sanji warns him. That's easy to say, but we grow closer, and the stupid Lapons try coming for us. We're crashing. Sanji grabs Luffy and me, then throws us into the air. You have to treat ladies gently, Sanji warns Luffy when the tree trunk smashes into the rock, flinging him into the air hard and crashing into the snow with the Lapons. I grab onto Luffy as he stretches his arm out to hold onto one of the tree trunks, and I climb onto the rock. Sanji, Luffy yells out to him as I pull him up. Ah, that hit me good, damn it, Sanji groans as he moves further down the mountain. You idiot, don't do stuff like that without telling us. I snap as I do something stupid. Teleport. I teleport over to him and grab hold of him around the waist quickly, feeling my ribs breaking further than before, making me groan in pain. Teleport. I grit my teeth as I appear back at the rock with Nami and Luffy, breathing worse than before, and Sanji is unconscious, badly beaten up. I'm sorry Luffy, I mutter, and another load of snow comes towards us, about to swallow us. Hellfire. Conflagration. A burst of fire surrounds me and blasts forward towards the snow, causing it to steam upon impact before it reaches us. I fall to my knees, breathing heavily as the snow settles. I try to calm my breathing, but it seems impossible as I feel the pain in my hands, seeing my gloves missing and my ribs are worse than before. Sis, are you okay? Luffy asks me, and I nod my head, not wanting to worry him as I try getting to my feet, but as I try, my foot caves on me, and a shooting pain comes from my foot, but it soothes as quickly as it arrives, thankfully healing, meaning I can walk. Let's get moving, I tell him, and haul Sanji's unconscious body onto my back and tie him securely with my scarf, and we set off back up the mountain towards the middle Drum Rocky. One Piece. Drum Island arc. Along the way, we come across the Lapon cub, who growls at us, standing protectively in front of a giant paw. As we reach closer, Luffy stares at the poor thing and pulls the adult Lapon up from the snow as the cub covers itself, afraid of being hit. Snow hits the little thing as Luffy pulls the alpha Lapon up, and we start walking again as the smaller Lapon hugs the alpha happily. That was nice of you, I comment with a smile, and he nods, probably feeling bad for us, 3 injured people he feels responsible for. I love you, little brother, I tell him. I love you too, big sister. I will definitely get you there. Don't die, all 3 of you, he says. I can't help but feel tears collecting in my eyes at how proud I am of him, and I smile at him. You will, I know it, and I won't die, I tell him as we keep walking, and the further we get, the stronger the wind and snow begin falling again. Hold it, brat. I hear a familiar voice shout from behind us and look back to see a white walkie charging towards us with 3 people on top. How dare you do many rude things to me? I'll beat you up. The white walkie stops in front of Wapol, and his 2 goons atop behind the stupid cane. Huh? You guys Luffy mutters as we look up at the 3 morons. I'll chew you guys up. Wapol threatens us. Get out of our way, Luffy orders us. Why would I get out of your way? Wapol questions. Looks like what you have on your backs are half dead. Luffy moves around them, and I follow, knowing we are too severely injured to fight them unless necessary. Hold it, oh, I know, Chess. I thought up a new law. Write this down. Yes, sir. The goofy idiot replies. Those who ignore the king are to be executed. Wapol demands, but we continue to walk off. Ignoring me already? Guys, first, get the sick and injured ones, who are ignoring me the most. Yes, sir, I hear the goons agree and turn to look behind us with Luffy, who grows angry. What did you say? Luffy growls as I watch the goons jump into the air above us. I'll take the woman on his back. Chess is in the green jester costume with a bow and arrow. I'll take the man on her back. Kuromarimo is in a yellow and orange jester costume with balls in his hands. Take this, Marino's surprise. He approaches me, aiming for Sanji as spikes come out of the balls on his hands, and I dodge. Luffy goes to fight but stops before I can warn him, and he runs off, and I run with him away from the goons. Damn you! You'll regret this. Don't follow us, Luffy yells after them, and we continue to run. He flips over as arrows fly under him, and we continue to run. He looks behind us. Huh? There's no one. What's going on? I wonder if they've already given up. He wonders, and I see Wapol up ahead and pull him back before he can be eaten by the stupid pretend king towards the two goons. Now this is a true battle in a snowy area. The white disguise, snow powder makeup. Kuromarimo yells as we draw closer. Since they're so weak, they'll be dead. Hess yells. Checkmate. They both yell as we come closer. Stop it, we yell, and a pair of Lapons jump up towards the goons and punch them away from us. And we land safely in the snow along with the rabbits. Lapons? Wapol shouts in shock. Did they protect them? Kuromarimo questions from behind us. It's a coincidence. Lapons never become attached to humans. Chess argues, and I look to see the Lapon cub on the alpha's back as it looks over its shoulder towards us. You are, Luffy mutters, the alpha gestures of strength, and I grin at the animal. Thanks, you saved us. We run off as fast as we can with the extra weight. Don't let them get away, Wapol orders his goons, and we run further away with stronger winds as we get closer to the mountain's base. Doctor, Luffy mutters as we reach the mountain's base, slowing down a little. We're here, Luffy, I tell him as I look up at the cylinder-like mountain with the wind visible around the rocks. I can't see the top, Luffy comments as he looks up at the mountain. We can find the doctor, up there. Hang in there a little longer, sis, Nami, Sanji. He tells us and tightens the robe around his waist. I draw my own and pull the end that's long enough to attach to Luffy's rope as he takes off his sandals, and I put them in my hood. Let's do this, I grumble, and we begin to climb up the rock, my hands already freezing from the cold air, and the wind gets stronger the further up we get, and Luffy's coat blows off his back, keeping Nami warmer. One Piece. Drum Island Arc 3rd Pav. Vivi and Usopp walk along the snowy path once the princess slaps the sniper awake. His face poorly swollen from the slaps he receives as they talk. Vivi steps on a pile of snow when something underneath pushes up. The princess falls back as something rises from the snow. Ah! What's that? Usopp screams in fright, and the snow disappears to reveal the swordsman half-dressed, frozen. Ah, that was close, I saw a field of flowers. Zoro stutters from the cold and gets to his feet, shivering. Suddenly hitting an avalanche in this cold. I must have run out of luck. But this is a sort of winter swimming, I guess. Zoro! Usopp calls out to the frozen swordsman, who looks to see Vivi but ignores the swollen-faced sniper. Oh, Vivi. Huh? He looks at the sniper and seems to take time to realize who it is. Oh, it's you, Usopp. What are you guys doing here? That's my question. They snap at him in anger from the fright he gave them, and they start walking off, heading towards the village as Zoro explains what happened to him. Winter swimming? Usopp questions him in shock at the swordsman's idea of training. Yeah. After swimming in the river for a while, I had no idea where I was anymore, so I was walking while doing muscle training, and then I ended up in a forest. Dressed like that? You're stupid, aren't you? Usopp can't help but comment. Anyway, give me your coat, Usopp, Zoro begs him, feeling the cold. No way. Usopp denies him. Then, your shoes. No. One of them. No, it's your own fault, isn't it? Look over there. There are people. Vivi stops the two of them as they look down to see soldiers standing on the higher snow while the citizens crowd in front with some of the buildings visible. Hey, I remember those buildings, Usopp comments, and Vivi looks closer at the familiar buildings. You're right. This is Big Horn. We ended up coming back, Vivi gasps, and they head down towards the group of civilians. Hey, what's the matter? Zoro asks one of the men at the back of the group. What's the matter? He repeats and turns around to see the half-naked swordsman. What's the matter with you, dressing like that? Dalton's buried under the snow of the avalanche, another man informs the outsiders. What? Usopp gasps in shock as they look at the scene. Dalton is? Vivi gasps as well. Yeah. We can't dig him out because those guys get in our way, he informs them. Step back. Step back. The soldier in front orders the citizens. If you have any objections, go right ahead and bring it on, he laughs evilly. Usopp, I remember their clothes. They're the ones who attacked us on the sea, right? Right? Zoro asks him. Yeah, that's right. He agrees. Then they're our enemy, aren't they? They're our enemy, right? What's the word? Are they on our side? Zoro says, feeling the cold more as he stands still. Well, they're our enemy, but why are you so? Usopp stops and sees the look in Zoro's eyes as he walks over to the soldiers as the leader laughs at the men. You aren't so courageous without Dalton, are you? He laughs at the citizen's misfortune, and Zoro punches him across the face. He falls into the snow unconscious. What? Mr. Bushido. Vivi yells as Zoro strips the soldier and puts on his coat, gloves and boots. Who's that? The other soldiers snap in anger at one of their own going down. Hey, you, stop it. If you attack them, you'll. One of the men tries to stop him, but he's already dressed. This is warm. I'm borrowing it. Zoro beams at the warmth of the coat and boots. You asked me because of that. Usopp growls from the back of the group. Look, they're angry. He yells over to the swordsman. You were on the ship with that guy who blew Wapple away. One of the soldiers questions him. Oh, you guys never learn, do you? Zoro ignores them as he looks over at the group of soldiers who let out war cries as they come running towards the swordsman, and he runs through the group taking 3 of their swords as his own. Are you guys looking for these? He teases, showing the 3 swords he took from them. They go from shocked to angry at the swordsman. Bring him down, one of the soldiers orders, and they let out a battle cry and race towards the swordsman, who slices through them quickly as he moves through the group to the other side. Hawk wave. Zoro yells as all of the soldiers fall into the snow. Oh, it's already over? He puts the swords into the snow and looks at the fallen soldiers. What a disappointing bunch. Amazing, Vivi mutters in awe, along with the other men watching. All right, good job, Zoro. Just as I instructed, Usopp lies, trying to take the credit a little. Let's find Dalton, one of the men shouts to the others. Yeah, they all shout back and head onto the pile of snow to find their friend. They pass Zoro, who walks back towards Usopp and Vivi with some of the men thanking him. Hurry up, dig everywhere. They shout in worry as they start shoveling the snow. So, what's all this fuss? Zoro asks Usopp as he runs over to join the swordsman. I'll explain it later. Let's help them, Usopp tells him and runs off with Vivi. Dalton, please be alive. One of the men begs as Usopp and Vivi join in on helping them dig into the snow to find Dalton. One Piece. Drum Island Arc Dakota's POV. We've been climbing for ages, and at least halfway, I'm growing more tired the further we get up. Luffy keeps muttering, "Doctor," under his breath as he climbs, motivating him. We keep rising, and I can't feel my hands as I climb, though I see the blood from the continuous harsh contact. I jolt as Luffy fumbles. Sliding down a little, I almost get pulled down with him, but I punch into the rock with my hand keeping me footed and stopping Luffy from falling further. Luffy, are you and Nami okay? I call down to him over the harsh wind. Yeah, he shouts up to me, and we continue climbing slowly but at least more than halfway. Luffy looks up, seeming more determined, and I follow it to see the top covered in snow, and we climb with our bloodied hands towards the snow top. It takes us a few more minutes to reach the snowy top of the mountain, blood dripping down our bare hands as we reach the snow. I pull myself up with Luffy behind as he stares at the White Castle, and I fall onto my hands in the deep snow soaking it with my blood. We made it, he mutters beside me and falls face first into the snow, passing out. Kureha! I scream out, hoping she hears me from inside along with Chopper. The snow gives way under us seconds later. Luffy begins falling. I try gripping onto something, but there's nothing, and we start to fall off the side. Suddenly something furry catches Luffy's arm, and I see purple boots stepping on my numb hands, keeping me in place, and my eyes soon close, feeling tired from all the lousy luck getting here. Take care of them, I mumble as I drop into the snow, letting them take care of the others.